Well, hello. Let's wait and see if we can get anybody in here on a Sunday afternoon, March 1st, 2026. I'm going to give an update regarding the Nancy Guthrie case. If anybody's watching this on the replay, you might want to skip through the first couple of minutes until I can get the people, the friends and family to come in. My YouTube family. Hey, Boston Bill. How are you? Is it cold in Boston today? It is so hot here that the AC's been on for 3 days. It's in the 80s. I'm just going to wait for some people to come in. Oh, are you just chilling? Yeah, I'm watching the Dodgers, actually. I'm watching spring training. And they are ahead 4-3 against the Angels. But, you know, it's spring training. 59. Wow, pretty warm after what you guys have been through. I would take that if I were you in your shoes. Gosh, yeah, I don't know. Were you here? You were here on my last live when that live's got like 4,000 views or something. Hey, Michelle, welcome in. I'm just going to give it a few more minutes here to get people to come in. Hey, Leanne. Oh, you've missed a few. You know what? I called you. I shouted you out. I think it was the last one or the one before. I shouted you out because you and one of my mods, Kelly Ray, because there's several Kellys in here, but you and Kelly Ray have been binge watching my videos, and I really appreciate that because even though my sub count is jumping quite quickly, I still am only about at the halfway mark as far as hours, watched hours, in order to be able to reapply for the monetization. Oh, okay. Michelle Wallace says, I met you through Whatnot, D Archivist. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but I like D. She comes on late at night, and I'm a night owl. Obviously, she is too. And you know what? She's so good at it that she knows OBS. And I can't figure out OBS live stream to save my life. And I'm just like, I wish. And she lives local too, but she's like out in Pomona or someplace, and I'm in LA. I would love to like see her in person and have her help me with my OBS. Hi, Elle. I am from Los Angeles, Elle. She's so good at the OPS, but see, she's younger than me. She's quite a bit younger than me, so she's like from a different generation. So she's real computer savvy. Like she should have like a college degree. Maybe she does, like in computers, because she knows how to do the OBS, even, you know, through her sales. Yeah, me too. It's my favorite city in the world, to be exact. Hey, we got 19 people. Everybody give me a thumbs up. We'll get this started. Let me just say that I'm up to 1,921 followers, and I need 79 more to hit 2K. And I just heard my computer. Hold on, let me turn down the volume on my computer. Yeah, I just had to shut off my email over there. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, 22 people. Oh, I look like crap. I've been through a medical cluster F the last 8 years. So I'm old as dirt, to answer your question. I'm so old that I can't answer that question anymore. Now my cat is gonna, now she wants something. Can I just get this going today? You have your food right here. Here's your food. I put it right here. There's your food. Okay, here we go. I'm April Davis, PI, and I'm in Los Angeles, California, and it's March the 1st, 2026. And I'll go a bit off topic for a moment, and I'll talk about March. Hold on. Here's Kelsa. She wants to say hello. Can I just get the video going? Oh, she's like, don't pick me up. Here, look. Say hi. Say hi. She says, no, I won't do that today. Boo Boo, thank you. Can you run the chat, Boo Boo, for just a second? I'm going to get her a can of wet food. I'm sorry. Here we go. It's right here. Come here. Come get your kitty food. It's right here. There we go. Okay, now you got fresh. There you go. You know, I am so sorry. That's so unprofessional to have to like start the video, stop the videos. Anyway, okay, she's got food. Bunny's passed out in her hide. And the email is turned off on the desktop. And I did remember today to put do not disturb on the phone and turn off the alarms. Wow, 39. Oh, wow. Well, thanks for coming in. Uzbekistan. Wow, that's awesome. I met a lady here in LA once. She brought me a Christmas gift and she was a total stranger. And she saw, like, I put a post about my cancer and she brought me a wreath and I put that up every year and she just disappeared. And I even sent her something and the mail came back and she was from Uzbekistan. I am a private investigator. Hi, Joe. Okay, let's get it going. Today is March 1st. March is a very hard month for me. I had a very, very close friend and business associate, but more of a friend than a business associate, and she passed away in October of 2022, but March is her birthday, and April is my birthday, and we always celebrated them together, so I don't know, the next 6 weeks going to be kind of hard. So I'm just going to keep busy. She'd want me to keep busy and be distracted, so I'm just going to keep going on YouTube. And that's how I feel when I saw the calendar strike March 1st this morning. I also, it's really affecting me that today is week 5. Today is day number 29. Yeah, 29 since Nancy was abducted from her home in the wee hours of Sunday morning, February 1st, 2026. There's no sign of her. Most of the media this weekend, they pulled out of her neighborhood. Yesterday, Brian Ninton of News Nation was out there. He was the only one. He was just out there in the Arizona heat by himself, and he said it was kind of eerie, considering everything. Now here comes the bunny. I'm getting emails. I got the kitty says, I have food, but I need more food because my dish is only half full. And now the bunny's like, hey, I need a treat. So she's going to get one of these. Because if she doesn't, she'll be like nagging at my leg. So here you go, baby. She just turned 4 on the 27th. So, okay. It was really hard to see Nancy Guthrie Street yesterday and today be empty. Brian Ninton was there yesterday, as I said. Another guy from YouTube that's been out there daily, he went there this morning, but he's not like live from there. He just went and did a video from there. And he's like, look, there's my car. I'm the only one here. And there's no parking anymore in the neighborhood for the media. But it's eerily quiet there. And it's just like literally in just 2 days, with that whole street being blocked up, everybody is just gone. Yeah, my birthday is actually in April, Boo Boo. But my very close friend who passed, her birthday is March. And ever since we met, we always celebrated our birthdays together. Hers was March 28th and mine is April 12th. So it's just the next few weeks are going to be hard. They're not talking about it anymore. Not really. Lady says, yay. 2 tacos. Cold case forever, unfortunately. Hey, 2 tacos. Welcome back. Oh, I like your avatar. Of course. Dodgers forever. I'm watching the Dodger game right now. It's 4-3 Dodgers over the Angels, but it's spring training. And let's see, the Angels are they're on their last 2 outs. Apparently, our old friend Chris Taylor went 0 for 3 today. About the bunny, yeah. It was her birthday on February 27th. At least that's the birthday that the shelter assigned to her. everybody, I have 16 people watching and only 8 thumbs up. And I hope you're all subscribed. Oh, somebody just hit. Okay, now we're down to 78. If I get 78 more subs on April Davis PI on my YouTube channel, I will hit 2K. Now, what's more important number to me, though, is the watchers. I'm only about halfway there for my watch hours because I had deleted a lot of my videos. Was briefly monetized. Something happened. They took it down. They said you can reapply in 90 days. And I got so mad because they wouldn't tell me which video I needed to take down. And I just started going delete, 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 delete. I should have never done that. I should have set it on private. And I didn't. And all my hours went. So I waited my 90 days. And then I couldn't reapply. It was like last May I could have reapplied, but I didn't because all my hours were gone. And so I have to crawl my way back out of the gutter. And I need my 4,000 hours. So to the people like Kelly Ray, one of my mods, and Leanne Navarez that are, binge watching my videos, Donna McCoy in Illinois, she's binge watching my videos. Thank you so much. That's what needs to happen. And if you guys keep doing that every day, every day, every day, it'll slowly start to add up because every day, the 365th day falls off and then a new day is added. Then the next day, a second new day is added, and then the 364th day falls. It just keeps going like in a year. So they take the last day of the year off and they put the first day, like the current day. And then it takes 4 or 5 days for them to count all the views. So, the views that I'm seeing today are like from the 24th or the 25th, something like that, even though it's March 1st. So they don't accumulate over time. They only take the last 365 days worth, if that makes any sense. So I need those subs just because more people will watch then, and I need the views. The more subs I have, then YouTube will say, hey, people are watching her. People are subscribing. So then they'll be more prone to push my videos out. Lou Hansen says hi. Hi back, Lou. Where are you coming in from? So there's not any really breaking news today on Nancy Guthrie other than it's week 5. It's day number 29. And since yesterday and then even today, the street where she lived, and I do have to say that in past tense, lived, her street is empty. Like the media finally just said enough is enough. And I know the weather's starting to, if it's 80 some degrees in Los Angeles, I can't even imagine what the weather might be like in Tucson right now. Does anybody know? Can somebody look that up? Oh, Lou's coming in from Florida. Well, welcome. Welcome, Lou. Yeah. Oh, lady, you asked me about the bunny. If you hit my subscribe button, when you're not, participating in my live, when you have time, you might want to go check out my playlist and click the playlist animals, and you'll see everything there is to know about the bunny and the cat. Wow, 41 people. Fantastic, everybody. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. Hit those red hearts. If you double tap your screen, the red hearts will come up. Can somebody tap the red hearts? And I have no mods in here right now. I have a mod in Alabama, Georgia, and Alaska, and they're not in here right now. Let me go over to my messenger. I already sent, she might be out for the day because it's Sunday. She might be out with her kids. So I already sent her a text, but I guess she didn't get it. So I'm going to type into Facebook Messenger and say on air. You're welcome, Lou. 27 people watching and only 10 thumbs up. Best digital. Oh, just to get off topic for a moment, the other night I was live on my last live, and I had about 4,000 people. A little under 3,000 and change that came in, not all at the same time, obviously, but over the course of the video. And I reconnected with my cousin. And I said, oh, your brother must have told you I have a YouTube channel. And she's like, no. And I'm like, well, how did you know? Because we're not connected on social media in any way. I don't think she has social media. I've looked and I haven't seen her on anything like Instagram or Facebook. And I was like, how'd you find me? And she was like, she said, God. It might have been because the next day I looked up, I did a little research, and YouTube has 116 million channels. There's over 100 or 115 million. There's over 115 million channels on YouTube, and I'm just one. One is the loneliest number. And somehow my feed or my live showed up in her feed. Go figure. Lady says, I am subscribed. We'll hunt it down. My foster wasn't eating this morning, praying the Metacam probiotic and turmeric will get her going again. Oh, do you mean a foster bunny? Yeah, if she's into stasis, you can go get baby drops at a drugstore that are used for infants, for like human infants. And you can look it up online, but you can give them a little teeny bit of that baby gas drops. They sell them in drugstores. But just giving them a little bit. Hey, Rita. And then make sure, even though they're in, if she'll shake and she'll breathe hard and she'll keep stretching and moving, then you know she's in stasis. You've got to pick her up, even though she won't like it at that. And you got to kind of hang her a little bit and stretch out that abdomen. And then when she's in a sitting position, you can reach your hands underneath her and give her gentle massages on her abdomen. And then you'll actually hear like the bubbles starting to break up. Now, by the next day, if she's still not eating, you need to order critical care. And you can get that from Amazon, and you need to force feed her. But you'll need to get that stomach going because, rabbits, they can't throw up. So if they get stuck, they can die in less than 24 hours. And I'm not trying to scare you, but yeah, you need to address that immediately. That was my biggest fear when I had all these hospitalizations, was that my bunny would go into stasis and I wouldn't be here to save her. Nancy. Hello. I'm looking, let's see, Nancy Nimmons? Is that it? Nancy Nimmons? Where are you coming in from? Don't think I've seen you before. 30 people watching, only 11 thumbs up. Thank you for hitting those red hearts. Whoever's hitting those red hearts, just, thank you and double tap your screen. Let me get back to, I got out of my YouTube studio here because I was messaging now it's gone up to 1924. So I am 76 subscribers away from hitting 2K. Geez, I wasn't prepared for a party. I don't think we'll hit it in this live. I do get, people that hit the subscribe button during the lives, but I don't think we'll hit 2K. At least not today. Lady B, I have 5 and a pair of mine. True, I've been through it a lot over the years. She has had EC twice this year, rubbed her tummy earlier too. I have CC and was going to, but caught her nibbling. Oh, okay. Wow, that's good. Make sure she has plenty of hay, as you probably know. And, have the baby drops always on hand and the critical care on hand and lots of water. But get that abdomen rubbed and, you can kind of pick her up. And my bunny doesn't like to be picked up. She's freaky that way. Even after 4 years, she's like, hell no, don't touch me. I can touch her now. And I've started to be able to massage her face and pick her up like this and give her kisses on her butt and put her straight back down. But if I try to carry her to take her into the room, that's the bathroom, the animals don't like going in there because that's where the nail clippers are. But yeah, just pick her up and give her stretches and hay. Hay is the most important thing. And just make sure that it's coming out on the other end. If not, you're looking at a expensive trip to the vet. But, don't hesitate to do that. I don't know where you're located, but here we have something called Care Credit. And that Care Credit is a little green credit card. It's a horrible bank that runs that system, but that Care Credit card has saved my life, saved my bacon many times when it's come to my pets. Okay, 40 people watching and only 13, my lucky number. That was my little league number. Only 13 thumbs up. Keep going with the thumbs up. Keep double tapping that screen. We just got another sub. I'm 75 subs away from 2K. When I started this video series, this true crime series, sadly on missing Nancy Guthrie, I only had like 1,600 subscribers. I've gained over 300 just in the month that she's been gone. And I don't want to, I'm not profiting from it because I'm not monetized, but wow. Lady B says, nice. A few of my fosters have been very resistant to touch, but are coming around. Oh, I know it. Thankfully, our rescue takes care of the medical bills for fosters. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that's true. Well, you're doing a good job, Lady B. There's a very famous bunny rescue in Los Angeles called Bunny Love, as in LUV. Bunny Love, is it Bunny Love Rabbit Rescue? Something like that. They're the best. And where are you located again, Lady B? Okay, well, let's get back to Nancy Guthrie here. I don't mind talking about other things, but let's talk about Nancy. Today, once again, is day number 29. It's Sunday. It's week 5. Hi, Lizzie. Uh, I did something last night. I'm kind of embarrassed to admit. Oh, you're in Portland. Okay, Lady B dance. Here we go. I went down the psychic rabbit hole again last night. Remember I told you about the lady in Australia that does the spirit box readings with, one of her couple of daughters? It's not always the same person that is given shouting out the answers, because unlike most of these channels where these YouTubers that are supposedly paranormal investigators or they're psychics or they're mediums, you actually hear the responses. But this lady does it different, where she throws out the questions, and a daughter or an assistant is somebody sitting over with a headset on, and you don't really see them, and they're listening in private to the answers, and then they shout it out to the hostess. And yeah, I feel that way too, Mimi. But I hope that they find her. Hey, Jane, welcome back. Everybody say hello to Lizzie. I did go down that rabbit hole again last night. And the only reason I did is because I've listened to that woman before a couple of times. And she had some really good information the first time, but, I don't really believe it. I take it with a grain of salt. But she was the one who said, that after the first reading that Nancy was upset because she knew that the family, like, she didn't pay the ransom, and she felt like she didn't have enough worth. And that just, like, even though I was like, this isn't true, this is BS, it still crushed my heart to think, well, I wonder if there's really something to it. And this lady really does have talent, and she really is talking to a spirit, which means that she's gone. Because if she were being held hostage somewhere, she wouldn't be able to talk through a spirit box, which I don't believe in. It's like Ouija boards, spirit boxes. I believe that there's some people that really do have psychic talents and they're mediums. I understand that. But in that first reading, she said, or that first conversation, it wasn't really a reading, it was a conversation with a spirit box. She felt upset that the family didn't pay the ransom and felt she didn't have any worth. And she said that she drowned and that she was in a lake, or she was in water near a mountain or a lake or something like that. You'll have to go back and play it. I went over it in one of my prior videos. So if you watch this series, I just talked about it and made some notes. But I listened to the part 2 last night, and they mentioned a red Mitsubishi, which that had never come up before. And she said it was all about money. And she kept saying something about the transferring of funds. Like, oh, who's transferring what to who? And that, like, I guess the primary hired a gang from a bar. That was interesting. Probably has, nothing to do with the fact that her son-in-law plays in a band that plays in bars. But yeah, whoever, like, is the organizer of all this apparently hired a gang in a bar to do the dirty work, and there was a transfer of funds. So, I mean, that doesn't change anything as far as I'm concerned. You still need to look at everybody's bank accounts. But she talked about this red Mitsubishi, and she talked about a long drive. And she was tied up, and it's terrible to listen to. And because this lady is Australian who's doing the interview, or she's talking to the spirit box, sometimes there's other countries. Like my friend I just mentioned earlier in this video from Canada, she would say it's so weird when there's other countries that speak your language. They speak English, but they do it in a different dialect, or they say different words that you don't say here in the USA. And it sounds even like really strange. And that would happen all the time, where she, it was just hysterical. We should have made a video about, American versus Canadian. Well, the Aussies are the same way. They're Brits, even though they're in Australia. And so they speak British English rather than American English. And instead of using the word gas or gas station, she uses the word petrol. Like they don't say trash or trash bin. They say rubbish. Gas is petrol. There's just different words for different things. And she kept asking her if she had stopped for petrol. And I don't know, even though I think this is all BS, I don't know. Let's just say hypothetically it was real. Like, well, she's American. She probably not familiar with the term petrol. And then she said 7-Eleven. The 7-Elevens are everywhere. Did you perhaps stop at a 7-Eleven? She mentioned Circle K, but that's been in the news. So that's probably where she got that, because she had been listening to some of the, YouTubers here in the United States. But she asked her the name of the place, and she spelled the words not all in one sentence or one word, but it came out as quick, as in Quik. And it wasn't live, it was pre-recorded. So in her comments, the comments just blew up because, but she's a big YouTuber. She's not like me, an amateur. She's a professional with thousands of followers, and she's monetized, and she's making money off this. And all her subs were just going crazy. People were watching because they're like, in Arizona, they have Quick Stop. And apparently that's like a franchise, or I don't know if it's a franchise, but there's a lot of gas stations in Arizona called Quick Stop. And so there was, these were the newest clues, was red, the word red, Mitsubishi, and quick. And she mentioned about something about an airport. Then she said the word Michigan, and she said Idaho. And there was just this like, Idaho, Now, I don't believe in any of this, but if you want to be entertained and just try to take some of the stress that's on your shoulders about this case, just go into YouTube and type in Nancy Guthrie Spirit Box, and you'll hear all these crazy theories. Wow, 59 people, only 19 thumbs up. Let me check on the... Okay, we're still sitting at 1925 subs. I need 75 more subs to hit 2,000. And if you're the one that clicks the 2,000, you let me know. Let me know in the chat. Like, if I don't think we're going to go that high today, but whoever is my 2,000 sub, I want to know who you are. Hey, Kellyanne Sullivan, welcome back. Let's see. Peter, welcome in. Haven't seen you before. I hope you're subscribed. I hope you've clicked that bell icon so you get notified anytime that I go live. Yeah, I'm still coming down off the high of the last live when my cousin, who I haven't talked to in decades, came in and said, "Hi, April. This is, Brenda, your cousin." And I was just like, "Wow, how did you find me? Who told you about me?" And nobody. It just came up in her feed. Like, I was like, "Wow, YouTube is really pushing me out there, aren't they?" But no, I'm not a monetized channel. I'm not making a dime. In fact, I spend money every month to keep this going. So I got to get remonetized at some point, or the channel may just collapse after 5 years. So make sure you guys are binge watching the videos, just playing them in the background if you have to, sharing the videos, placing comments in the chat, placing comments in the video comments. Those are the comments that are after the video when you're rewatching on the playback. Always place something in those comments too. Hit the red hearts, double tap the screen, let YouTube push this out there. Now, I wish I had more news for you today on Nancy Guthrie. As I said earlier, it's week 5. It's day number 29. And as of yesterday, most of the media has pulled out of the neighborhood. I think a lot of them are having a hard time parking because they're not allowing any of the media people to park. There's like basically no parking on the street anymore at all. One of the tents is still set up, but there's nobody in it. And unless you can make friends with a neighbor, which one of the YouTubers did so he could park in her driveway, you have to park, way outside the neighborhood and, walk up hills, in the desert, in the heat. And it's just, people have got to go home. I mean, a lot of the FBI team I found out came from the Phoenix office, and they've already been sent home. Remember, the FBI at one time had up to 400 agents on this case. I don't know how many agents are on it now, but apparently they're going through thousands of hours of video on different videos that they've requested, probably traffic cams and gas stations and convenience stores, and they've got a lot of video to go through. And it takes hours. It takes thousands of hours of manpower to go through all these videos. And I know that the Pima County Sheriff has said that many of his detectives are being reassigned now to other cases. Hey, Lisa Carpenter. Thank you for coming in to say hi. How's it shaking, Lisa? Let me check the subscriber count. Yep, still at 1925. 47 people watching and only 20 thumbs up. Please hit the thumbs up. Hit those red hearts. Oh, thank you. Somebody just did that for me. I appreciate that. Oh, you're doing good. I'm doing good, but I'm at the frustration point. You know, especially yesterday when I saw a live from, or it wasn't a live, it was recorded video from Brian Inton, and he was walking down the street by himself, and he was the only person there from News Nation, and he was like, it's kind of actually, he was standing in front of her house, you know, and he was like, it's kind of creepy considering what has happened here, and like I'm the only person, like there's nobody else there. And I know several of the YouTubers went up to some mountain that's north of the city. I think it was called Mount Lemon, possibly, and there's a lake up there. It might be Rose Lake. There's some mountain lake that's north of Tucson. That's much higher elevation, and apparently a lot of YouTubers went up there yesterday. I don't know if they did a live or they just recorded videos. And you know, it was very creepy because they were saying like, well, if she is in water, this could be a potential place. And I've just felt water all along, and I don't know why I feel that. Oh, you said it was JLR? You mean JLR who went up to the Mount Lemon? It was the guy that has all those subs, and he's been out there day after day after day. Oh, Lisa says what I just said. I am frustrated. You think so? It was JLR. Yeah, he said, well, if it was him, the guy from Florida, he said he was going up there with a lot of other YouTubers, and that they were going to bring like Starlink or something. But I don't know if any of them went live from there. But they went up to this Mount Lemon or something. I'll have to look up to see where that is. JLR and Dad's Gone live there with 7 of them. Oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know, Deanna. G Baby, yeah, they did. Lisa Carpenter said yes. Like I didn't see that. I saw one of the recorded videos later that was just like a few minutes where the guy was standing out there saying, yeah, this is a possible place. But I mean, you know how much water there is on this planet? The planet's like more than 70% water, you know? If she is in water, I don't think they took her far. I have no idea who did it. He obviously was a person of interest at one time, but, you know, the sheriff's claiming there are no suspects, then everybody's a suspect, and so nobody's cleared, then the family's cleared, and he said that twice that the family's cleared, but, you know, all these leads aren't panning out, and I go back to square one. You know, money, revenge, somebody close to her, or somebody targeting Savannah. But if somebody was targeting Savannah and they wanted to legitimately kidnap her, they would have done it in a different manner, and they would have kept that woman alive at all costs to be able to show proof of life. And, you know, why go through all this and have a dead body and have no way of collecting a ransom or a reward, you know? Oh, they had to hike like a mile in, but so beautiful. Wow. Oh, I'm sure she probably has multiple stalkers. When you're famous, Jeremiah, welcome. Um, there's always, you always have people targeting you all the time, 24/7, 365 days a year. That's why the Today Show has private security for those people, and I'm sure she probably has her own as well. Lisa, what happened to the 2 girls that went up to JLR? Does anyone know? I have no idea what that is. I don't watch him regularly. I'm just too busy with, you know, oh, somebody just subscribed. 74 more subs and we'll hit 2,000. I don't think that's going to happen during today's broadcast, but wouldn't it be cool? And whoever does hit that subscribe and they see that it converts from 1,999 to 2,000, please, send me a message. Let me know who you are. Oh, they said they knew who did it. You mean the two girls? Did they walk up to him during a live? What happened to the two girls that went up to JLR? Did they go up during the live? I saw the lady that came out with the amp and the microphone, and she started singing at the end of Nancy's driveway. That was really weird. Hey, Rachel. Hi, Dawn. Welcome back. They said they knew who did it. Yes, and they were crying. Jeremiah says Tommaso and Annie. Is that what they said, or is that what you're saying? They were shaking. Oh, I didn't see that. I'd be interested to see that. Did it happen during a live? Oh, you said Jeremiah. Okay. Yeah, nobody is ruled out in my mind, not even the family, no matter what the sheriff says. Nobody is ruled out in my mind. Most kidnappings or abductions or murders occur from somebody you know. I did see the most recent. Well, there's a lot of YouTubers that do spirit boxes, but I saw the lady in Australia that had done the earlier one on this case, and she did a part 2. And she named a vehicle, she named a location, and she mentioned a quick stop, or she said quick. When the lady kept saying petrol, it took a while for, I guess, the spirits to explain that, because she wasn't saying, in Australia, they don't say gas station, they say petrol. Did you stop for petrol? But, it's a spirit box. It's probably all BS. The sheriff is saying no one is ruled out. Oh, has he double backed again? Dawn? Shadow ban. Oil price is spiking. Well, considering what's happened in Iran, and the fact that they're trying to close one of the main seaports over there, and none of the ships are allowed to go through today. Yeah, gas is, probably like $10 a gallon next week. Tara from Another Realm is awesome. Is she a spirit box reader, Lisa? Because I'd like to check her out if she is, even if it's just for my own entertainment. Yes, okay. Tara from Another Realm. I wish I had my notepad in front of me. I could write that down. Can somebody email that to me at aprildavispi@gmail.com, because I won't be able to see this chat till a couple days later. Tommaso had a gambling debt and maybe poisoned food. Oh, wow. I've heard that about the gambling debt from a casino in Mexico, but I don't know if that's true. Oh, she lives in Canada. Oh, I love Canada. My dad was naturalized Canadian. And my friend, whose birthday is this month, who's no longer with us, she was Canadian too. So, I don't know. March 28th and April 12th. It's going to be tough for me. March 28th being her birthday and April 12th being mine. Ever since we became really good friends, we always celebrated our birthdays together in the short time that we knew each other. I have just a special place in my heart for Canada. Yeah, I woke up today and I saw the calendar on my computer and on my phone, and I'm like, oh my God, it's March 1st. And I actually started thinking about it last night. Your mom's was the 26th. 26th of March? Jeremiah says Trump is amazing. Even California and New York is celebrating Trump. Lisa Carpenter says, yes, okay, to your mom's was March 26th. Yeah, I don't know a lot of March people for March birthdays. Your gas is $2.89. Well, you're obviously not in California, are you, Jeremiah? I'd have to check today to see where it's at, but I can't even remember when it could have been that price here. I mean, it would have been years. Dawn says yours is 309. You know, after I do this, I'm gonna check that out to see what the gas is today in California. Well, not California, but in my part of Los Angeles. It can change dramatically from neighborhood to neighborhood. Oh, Lisa says all your grandkids and daughter were born in March. Now, if they're born in the latter part of March, like my friend that passed, then they're Aries like me. And we're all like, type A personalities. That's why this YouTube thing is it's so frustrating for me because, I'm so good at being a detective, but I'm just okay in any of my other endeavors. And I haven't had much success here on YouTube. And it's really been a good thing for me since I survived my cancer. And, it's a good distraction for me. She always said, you have to have a distraction. You have to keep busy, keep going. Boo Boo says, I used to live in LA. Well, what part of LA, Boo Boo? Lisa says, my mom and granddaughter is a true Aries. Yep. I know I had an ex-boyfriend that was in Aries. I have a friend that is on Days of Our Lives, and she's an Aries, and my friend Kelsa was an Aries. My best friend in high school, her birthday was 3 days after mine. She's an Aries. I don't know. I seem to connect to either Aries or here in LA, obviously, I connect to people in the entertainment industry. Like most everybody I know right now in my life. You miss your mom. Yeah, I miss my mom too. Oh, you lived in Culver City. Well, does anybody else have any information here about the Nancy Guthrie case? I did see in the comments where somebody mentioned that two women had walked up to JLR and mentioned or claimed that they knew who did it. And I guess that was on one of his live streams. I didn't see that. They should call 1-800 call FBI. That's 1-800 call FBI. That would be really creepy. Why would you walk up to a YouTuber and say, you know who did it? Like, call the Pima County Sheriffs or call 1-800 call CALL FBI. I would immediately if I knew where she was. You know what, my medical bills and all the expenses I pay for this channel with no money coming in, like, I used to have a 6-figure business before I had cancer. Then everything went to hell in a handbag. Like, I would be contacting Savannah myself. Like, if I knew anything, I'd want that reward. Oh, well, I don't have any mods here. And we got a knucklehead that just came in. Someone has to go into a timeout. There you go. I'm sorry about that, people. We just had to time somebody out. I hate crap like that. Don't come in and be a knucklehead. You used to fish at Venice Beach. Oh, I love Venice Beach. That is all you know about the two women, okay? Ayo. Ayo, oh. Hello. You didn't see that. You didn't see what, Rita? She is absolutely beautiful, says Kelly. Don McWhorter, I've got nothing thus far, but I still think whoever did this was closer and in the inner circle. Absolutely. If somebody was targeting Savannah Guthrie to kidnap her, they would have actually done a kidnapping. I think she was probably murdered in the home and taken away. I don't even know if she was abducted. I mean, she's obviously not in the home and she didn't walk out on her own, but whoever was in that home for a very long time. And there was probably more than one person involved. Lisa says they wanted him to go to the sheriff offices with them. Well, that's weird. Kellyanne Sullivan responds, I think so too. Yeah. That would be weird if you're like out, you're a YouTuber or you're a newscaster and you're out doing a live at the scene and somebody comes up crying, I know who did this. Like, go to the sheriff, go to Pima County Sheriff or go call 1-800, call FBI. I would make sure to go to law enforcement immediately if I thought I knew anything. I'm not working this case. And, if I was 20 years younger, 30 years younger, and I didn't have my disability and all my medical situation, and I'm not licensed in Arizona. I was for a couple of years, but I never used it. So there was no use in renewing it because I live in California and all my work is here. But I would get in my car if I were, young and younger, and I think I would have just gone there. Couldn't stay there forever because I have obligations at home and my business, but I would have loved to have just, got in the car and drive to Tucson and hang out there for a while and just try to figure this out. But, since I'm not involved in the case, I don't know all the information that the sheriffs knows and the FBI knows. And I think the family knows a lot more than what's been said. And I think every time they made an appearance, especially Savannah, everything has been scripted. Everything has been scripted. And even though we don't point out suspects on this channel, because everybody is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law in this country, for whatever reason, I don't like the body language of the sister. I don't like the body language of the sister and her husband when they came out in their car before the FBI took their car away. And by the way, as of 2 days ago, as far as I know, they still have possession of the car. And if you call the Pima County Sheriff's Office, they'll actually tell you, a total stranger, that they still have the car because the car is a piece of evidence in an active investigation. The crime scene where the woman was either murdered, abducted, kidnapped, taken, whatever you want to say, whatever happened to her in that house, that was a crime scene for under 48 hours. But for like 3 weeks, the FBI and the Sheriff's Department and all these CSI people, all these men and women in CSI, have been out at Annie and Tommaso's. But that's not where the crime occurred. The crime occurred at Nancy Guthrie's house. Now, what does that tell you? I mean, I know you have to rule out the people closest, but does it take 3 weeks to rule somebody out? Do you take their car and never give it back? Like, what's up with that? What do they know that we don't know? And why do they have this look of shame when they were seen? Like, oh, don't look at me. Like, and I'm not saying that they did it. I'm not saying they're involved or they hired anybody. But what are they so ashamed of? I would go, I'd run towards the cameras like, hey, yeah, it's me, it's April Davis, and, my mom is missing, and please help me and go find my mom, I wouldn't hide like a coward, like, what is going on? Like, even when Savannah was reading, they're very scripted statements. The sisters, she's kind of like looking this way, or they're not even, they're all sitting together, but yet Savannah's obviously the leader. She's in the front. Where the sister and the brother, they're kind of in the back. And the brother, he's just zombied out. And I'm thinking, well, he's military, and maybe that's just his training, that he's very stoic. I'm not sure what's going on with him, but it was just something didn't feel right. As soon as I saw that, as soon as I saw them coming out of the house when they still had their car, at the beginning of this, they still had their car and they tried to leave their house and they were all like, like, it's just, something's not right with that. She is absolutely beautiful. I missed that comment earlier. Who is absolutely beautiful? Don McWhorter, I've got nothing thus far, but I still think whoever did this was closer. And okay, we said that in the inner circle. They wanted him to go to the sheriff's office with them. I wish I had seen that, Lisa. KC Farms, welcome in. That's what I'm thinking. Don says they've had to know her personally and all her moves as well as her financial stability. Absolutely. And once again, do I have to say that I've been the only person, and I've said this from the very beginning, that has, said publicly here that there was a second mortgage on the house in 2017 on Nancy's house. There could be a lot of explanations for why a 70-some-year-old woman at that time would have taken out a 30-year mortgage. Who needed money? Rita Close says, about the two women, that's what I think, April. What about the two women, Rita? I'm sorry, the chat's just getting away from me. 53 people. Wow, absolutely wonderful. I got 33 thumbs up, and the subscriber count is still sitting at 1926. If I can have 74 more subs, I would hit the 2,000 mark. I never even thought I'd make it to 1,000, and I'm almost at 2,000. I just and those have all been organically grown subs. So, wow, I'm going to get very emotional if it hits 2,000. Everybody, make sure you share this channel. Get those subs. Get me those subs. Get me those thumbs ups. Hit those red hearts. Double tap your screen. G Baby says, I think this was a planned act by someone who knew her closely rather than a random incident. Well, I happen to agree with you, G Baby. This wasn't random at all. No matter what it is, whether it's revenge, money, whether she was targeted personally or somebody was targeting Savannah, this was not a random crime. Deanna says they said they just wanted attention, that it didn't pan out. Oh, with the women? Okay. Yeah, probably some kook. Like the guy in the car that drove by 50 to 100 times, and then they took him away on DUI, and he had Nancy's picture on the phone. Now, that was creepy. KC Farm says, unfortunately, I don't think she's with us anymore. I think she's been gone from the very start, KC, or at least within the first 24 hours. I think she may have been carried out deceased. Lisa Carpenter says, I would too. I missed that, Lisa. You would too. Dawn says, that's crazy, very strange. I agree, April. Yes, ma'am. ASD. Okay, we're not going to go there, ASD. That's not what this channel is about. Sant, 1982, welcome back. Okay, 22726. JLR investigate starts. 15-minute lady called, said to go to Google Maps at Nancy's address, show November 2025. Go down her street to the left is a guy driving a white 2021 Nissan Murano with passenger. Okay, so somebody contacted JLR. Something about 15 minutes. A lady called JLR is what you're saying? Said go to Google Maps at Nancy's address. Go to November 2025. Go down her street to the left is a guy driving a white 2021 Nissan Murano with passenger. And what does that mean? Do we know what that means? Lisa Carpenter says Savannah too. I'm so behind the curve, Lisa. Lisa Carpenter, either do I. There's so many messages that I can't see them all at the same time. Casey, I think they don't want to give too much information to protect the facts. Absolutely, Casey. Dawn, I believe you're right. I think they still have the Range Rover too. Yes, I think they do. And I want to know why they were looking for that Range Rover. And I want to know the connection between the people that bought the Range Rover, which was allegedly, reportedly, the Dailies, and what is their connection or non-connection to Saidon Hamad Al Jaghoub, also known as Zach Jaghoub, who was employed at the MB Motors in Tucson, who at one time lived in an apartment very close to the Nancy Guthrie estate. The guy that said online, or someone claiming to be him online, said, I sold that car to a mother and her son, and I'm currently out of the country. And then later says, I haven't lived in the country since 2019. But if you go to all his social media, you can clearly see him not only in Tucson, but here in Los Angeles multiple times on multiple dates. When did he leave the country? What was his connection to the car? Was it through his dealership that he works at? Supposedly that car was sold to someone from Craigslist. And someone said it was registered to Zach Jaghoub. Like, I still want to know all there is to know about that. It was either dark blue or dark gray Range Rover that was taken into custody in the Culver's parking lot. I still want to know about that. As well as electronics, yes. Yeah, they still apparently have the phone of Carlos Palazuelos. Gee, baby, now that's interesting. Savannah seems very cold and detached. You know, I got the feeling in the first statement with the family, with the body language, that she was detached from her siblings. Even though they were touching hands, it all seemed very staged. And obviously, every plea that she has made on her Instagram has been scripted, highly scripted. Lisa Carpenter says they are not telling us. You mean the police, or do you mean the Guthrie family? And Kellyanne agrees with that 100%. Oh, I agree, boo-boo. Her place was too isolated to be alone at her age. But you know what? She's lived there most of her life, her adult life, since 1975. And that was her home. And if that's where she wanted to be, then that's where she should have allowed to have been. But there should have been a full-time caregiver. And, when you have a daughter that's making $8 million a year and you get a doorbell cam, you really need it to be more than a doorbell. You need to take out that subscription and be able to save the video. But, she's 80 some years old. Maybe she didn't understand that. I'm not going to victim blame here. Her place was too large. I would be terrified to be in a place that large by myself. Good question, Lisa. That's a very good question. I wonder if Savannah suspects her sister. KCF or KC Farms. I agree she needed more security. Absolutely. KC Farms says it really doesn't feel right. It doesn't. Don McWhorter. Savannah knows. I can just tell by her demeanor. Yeah, something is off with her demeanor. Just the way they connect or don't connect when they're sitting with each other, the way she's kind of in the front and they're kind of behind her. The body language when the sister and the brother-in-law came out in the car. I've interviewed thousands of people in my 40-year career, like 35 years full time until, I got struck down by the big C. And everything else is, my life has been a crap show since then, but I'm still here. So, if I weren't here, I wouldn't be able to meet all you wonderful people that are watching my live video right now. And I so appreciate that. You mean the world to me. You guys are my YouTube family. But I do agree with that, Dawn, that Savannah knows. I can just tell by her demeanor. Oh, I think they know a lot more. And I think that's why the rumors are getting started now that she plans on going back to the Today Show very soon. Casey Farm, somebody is not telling everything. Absolutely, Casey. Hi, Anthony. Welcome in. Okay, Sant1982 said she also pointed out that the white 2021 Nissan Murano looks exactly like the white Kia Soul shown in the Ring doorbell video, and possibly they were scoping out Nancy's house. Yeah, I heard also the week that this happened, there was a white van with window tint. But I'm sure in Tucson, almost everybody has window tint. The Range Rover looks similar to the Kia Soul. The Range Rover is a totally different color scheme, though. 40 likes. Wow, yeah. Keep going, everybody. 40 likes. And let me check the subscriber count. Oh, it just went up another two clicks, 2 notches. So 72 more subs, and I will be at 2,000. And whoever is the one that hits that 2,000, please let me know so I can say thank you. Anthony says, I've never got more than 22 likes. Yeah, it's hard. YouTube is hard. Being a detective and catching all these criminals, and I mean, I've been in the news multiple times in my career, not by name because of, they have to keep the companies out of it. But, I was on a big gig once that made the front page of the LA Times, and it wasn't a big deal to me, but I remember my dad in Canada, he went crazy. He was making me go out and buy these newspapers and, so I could send them to Canada. I would love to go to Arizona, Lisa Carpenter. I would love to. Mimi Wunsch. I think she was the target. I am so surprised they haven't caught a person or persons if they have received the money. Nobody's been paid anything, as far as I know, Mimi. Yeah, that Bitcoin account has gotten out of. Lisa Carpenter. I wouldn't be able to work on it. I was licensed briefly during the big, when my company was really big, and it was a 6-figure PI business. I did temporarily have for a couple years, I had an Arizona PI license, and then I realized, you know what, I'm never going to get to Arizona. Years later, I went there for a meeting, but it wasn't a gig. It was a meeting, like a seminar where PIs came in from all over the country. That was in Phoenix around 2014 or 15, and I enjoyed it though. I would love to be involved in this case. I mean, I still could be from Los Angeles if I could just talk to, if I could have a meeting with Savannah, and I would go over, here are the points that need to be looked at. But it still has to be proven. The police can't just arrest somebody on a whim. They have to have enough evidence to be able to go and ask for an arrest warrant. What was so creepy? Deanna said, yep, that was so creepy. What was? Kellyanne, I'm behind in the chat. I'm sorry. I don't know how true it is, but Savannah went back to the job. I don't think she's gone back yet. There's a lot of conflicting reports the last few days, but apparently she does intend to return to New York. Exactly when and how soon she would go back to her job, we don't know yet. Dawn says, I believe no ransom has been paid except for $300. Yeah, I think somebody put a $300 test thing in that account to see if somebody would bite. Savannah is not paying anything at this point until her mom is found. Good for her. Lisa says, I heard it is true that Savannah went back to work. Dawn says, I heard that too, Lisa. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I believe he is innocent. Who is innocent? I think everybody's innocent until proven guilty. It's somebody close to her for money, or it's somebody who targeted her specifically because she was the mother of Savannah Guthrie. It's one of two things. Dawn says, yes, very much so. I'm so behind in the chat. Lisa Carpenter says, police. Nary's Hughes, police. What did I miss? Annie was her caregiver. Yes. Not like she didn't live in the house with her, but yeah, she was the one that lived 10 minutes away. Oh, Don McWhorter probably never thought something like this would happen to her. She felt safe and comfortable. Yes, she did, as we should all in our own homes. We all need to take care of each other and look out for each other. Yes, I saw the interview that she was in a restaurant with her daughters, and she was talking about how much she liked her home in Tucson. Dawn says, yes, Lisa, I heard that. Kathy Morgan, welcome in. Savannah was so hostile and rude in her interviews, she must have made enemies. Everybody that's in the public eye has enemies. Everybody's a target. When you're rich and you're famous, even if you're the best person that could be, you have a target on your back. And I know that because of my career. So that was the first thing I thought of when I heard about this. I was lying in bed on Sunday night that this happened, and it was just starting to leak late Sunday night. And it came up on my feed, and I was like, oh my God, like somebody got poor Savannah Guthrie's mom, but then, the next several days when things started to come out, and then I was like, well, it's either this or it's that. It's either connected to Savannah or it's connected to somebody close to her who was in need of money. I would be good. Well, I am good at being a detective. I suck at YouTube. And that's what I need now. I need to be good at YouTube. If I had the talent at YouTube that I had in my detective career, I'd have like 1 million subscribers. I'd be paying my ambulance bills. I'd be paying the LA Fire Department. I'd be paying the hospital. I would be paying the anesthesiologist and the labs. And, I'm just getting things paid a little at a time. Hell, I still have to pay for my copay on the kidney surgery. Still waiting for that bill to come. They were going to take it from me before the surgery. I deemed it ransom. But when I got there, I was like, hey, I have secondary insurance, but it doesn't kick in until this and this and this happens. But you must bill this first and then send me the bill. And if, I owe the copay, I'll pay it. And shockingly, they went for that. I negotiated that at like 4:50 a.m. Like, just hold on before you swipe that credit card. Savannah said, Savannah want a good daughter? Or are you saying wasn't a good daughter? Someone said in another chat. Lisa Carpenter says, Carlos. What about Carlos? Carlos Palazuelos. He was a delivery guy, and he probably delivered before on her street, probably even to her house. Who knows? He doesn't even know. And Carlos himself said that maybe he was targeted because he has the same name as his father, and his father has if he's the same Carlos Alberto Palazuelos, the same, if they're father and son, and there's an indication that they are related. There is a Carlos Alberto Palazuelos of Tucson who is in the National S Offender Registry. And at the beginning of the case, they were looking, that was the first group of suspects they were looking into, as they were looking at registered S offenders in the area. And there was someone in her area in Tucson named Carlos Alberto Palazuelos. That was in the registry. And then there was this, other Carlos Palazuelos, who may or may not be Carlos Alberto Jr., who is a delivery person who delivers in Tucson and drives up every day, Monday through Friday from Rio Rico. And maybe that was the connection there. And his phone may have pinged in that area because of what he does for a living. Leanne, I believe she'll be back to work within the next month and a half or so. Oh, I missed your message, Kelly. Lisa, if that was my mom, I would be searching. Yeah, I'd never stop. Especially since there's no body. Without a body, you keep searching. Why are they not searching the family? Well, we don't know that they're not searching the family. No matter what Banana says. Kellyanne, what's got me in the fact that she's lived there for over 50 years and now all of a sudden something happened. She disappears. Yeah, I know. Lisa Carpenter says he is innocent, I think. Who? I don't know who's guilty. I don't know who did this. There's just a whole long list of possibilities here, especially with her daughter making $8 million a year and being in the public eye. Oh, Carlos. Yeah. I think he's innocent too. I was telling everybody, send Carlos a pizza because he doesn't even have his phone. Like, let's look up his mother-in-law's address and send him a pizza. And he's got an attorney now, this Jesse Showalter. And apparently the Dailies have lawyered up too. Because I think the Dailies' mother and the other brother, they were like, what the F, when they were pulled out of their house on a Friday night, the 13th of February, and, the house was being raided. And then, the other brother, Luke, was being pulled over down the street. And that was coincidentally the day after, less than 24 hours after the girlfriend, Kayla Day, was hooked up for non-related charges for, failure to appear. And so she had outstanding warrants. Lisa says, but I think Annie and her husband. Well, I don't like their body language, but I'm not accusing anybody on my channel of a crime. We're up to 1929. I have 71 more subs to go before we hit 2K. Oh, Lisa says Kayla made a plea deal on Friday, but we don't know. Yeah, I'd like to know what that's about. She must have played a race card. Kelly and Sullivan, they have spent a lot of time at the house in the backyard searching around patio multiple times, of going through the neighborhood asking about the cameras multiple times. Lisa Carpenter says, me too. Okay, I think I'm finally caught up. You know what? I had a plumbing issue the other day, and the plumbers didn't show, and I hear something. I just want to make sure that everything is okay in my bedroom. I hear water running. You guys, talk to each other. I'll be right back. Is everything okay, kitty? Is everything okay? Okay. I'm back. Can you hear that through the mic? I think it was upstairs. I'm just very paranoid. They were supposed to come Friday, and then, I'd already waited for maintenance in the morning, and they showed up to do things in the bedroom, and then the plumber guys, the specialist plumbers, after 12 years of begging, they're finally sending a specialist, and then they didn't show up, and the manager was like, oh, I got so busy, I forgot to call. I'm like, I've been sitting here since 9 this morning, and it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and, whatever. So we have to start that all over again next week, and they're going to have to rip my drains apart, and it's not from me, it's from the neighbors. It's an old crappy building, what can I say? But this is the second time that I've been in a live and I've heard like, oh no, oh no. But everything's okay. I mean, in the past it hasn't been, and they've had to rip down walls and ceilings, and one time it was so bad I had to move out of the apartment for a month. It was just, what a nightmare. And my cat was really old at that time, my other cat, and just cried and cried and cried like, can't we go downstairs? Can't we go home? And I had another bunny at that time, and he was fine. He was just like, hey, it's a party, but it's very stressful. Can you imagine me trying to handle everything and being 84 and being by myself, like, and having a 4,000 square foot house or whatever it was. What was it? 4 or 5 bedroom house and all that land and the pool and the guest house. And, I know she had a landscaper and she had a housekeeper, but they didn't, the housekeeper didn't live with her as far as I know. Sent 1982. JLR video is over 11 hours. The phone call starts around 15-minute mark. JLR said Google Maps picks out 1 day per year, and a day in November 2025 is when lady said 2021 white Nissan is driving on Nancy Street. Well, that could be anybody. Oh, I'm not sure what the significance of that is. I didn't see that. I just don't have time. I check in with these other YouTubers occasionally, but I'm just so busy in my own life that you guys obviously know more than I do about the situation as far as the other YouTubers are concerned. The pros. Is that the guy? Is JLR? Is that there was one that I was watching and it was somebody really popular, and somebody in his chat just goes so fast you can't even see it. But somebody said, oh, you're making $100 in super chats every 10 minutes. And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna be sick here. Like, my channel is not that. It will never be that. That's not what I do for a living. So I'm not that good. And it was just like 100 every 10 minutes, like, oh my God. And then when I realized, like, when 3,000 people or 4,000 people come in, not all at the same time. I think the most I've ever had is like 90 to 100 at any given moment. But I thought, if there was 3,000 people that turned into this video and they could just go to my main channel page and they could see my links and they could see my history about what happened to me medically. It's well documented since 2019. Like, and every one of those people just said, you know what? I feel for this lady and she seems like she's all right. And, I like her and I'm going to send $1. And I'm not asking anybody here for money. So you don't need to send money. But I was just thought, if I was somebody important, and the 3 to 4,000 people that are watching these videos now, if everybody sent $1, I was like, I could pay all my back medical bills in a week. It would just be like done. But I'm not, James Vanderbeek. I'm not James Vanderbeek, who went out and bought a $4.87 million ranch 4 or 5 days before his death, who owed hundreds of thousands of dollars in back taxes. It's a effed up world. I gotta say. I pray for his wife and his kids. That's all I can say. But something else just happened too with somebody else. Who was it? What's that medical show where the guy just died of ALS? Really famous. Eric Dane, is that his name? And he was still married, but yet his wife had a boyfriend and he had a girlfriend, because when she found out he was dying, all of a sudden she kind of canceled. She put the kibosh on the divorce, And now it comes out that for the last 3 or 4 years, she's been dating a guy who's a multi-billionaire. A multi-billionaire. But they started a GoFundMe, just like the Vanderbeeks did, to help pay for the kids. Like, you're dating a billionaire? And you started a GoFundMe for your dead husband? And the same thing with the Vanderbeeks. I'm not going to judge. I don't know what their personal situation is. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. Like here, we're not saying somebody's guilty or innocent. We don't know. But you buy almost a $5 million ranch that you were paying rent. I guess it would cost a lot to rent a $5 million ranch. And then you get money from your friends to put a down payment on it. Must have been a private loan, because no bank would have loaned money on somebody that doesn't have any money, that owes hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax liens. And then, 4 or 5 days later, he drops dead. And, in like a day and a half, it was like $2.6 million they collected. And I was just like, oh my God, like the power of the internet. Like, it's incredible. Oh, hey, Brenda. Oh, you know what? Because of my PI associations, I get about 1,000 emails a day. And that's my private account, by the way. And that's fine because you're my cousin. Everybody else like that I don't know, please, if you have to send me an email on this, aprildavispi@gmail.com. But this is a family member, Brenda, and I will go over that later. I have to like go through everything. But I did get your email, and thank you. I have a lot of Gmails to go through on this actually. One of my regular viewers has sent me quite a bit on this. What does that say? FSL button to send you money. No, I'm not asking for money. But I was just saying, like, the other night when we had like 4,000 people come in here, I was like, wow, if every one of those people had just sent me $1, I'd pay all my medical bills in one day, or a week. Because it takes a while to go in and there's fees and all. But I'm just, I'm not asking for a dime, but it was just like, I looked at that James Vanderbeek situation with the purchase of the ranch and the back taxes and, somebody obviously living way beyond their means. And I feel bad for the guy because I know he suffered with colorectal cancer. It's an awful way to go. And in fact, my Thai family, they just knew somebody. She knows somebody famous who just died of that, and it's just awful. But I saw that, and it was like, wow, you're famous and you're in the public eye, and you've spent all this money that you don't have, but the kids need to eat, on their $5 million ranch. And eventually someone's going to have to pay that dead man's taxes because, even in death, you can't avoid taxes. And then when I saw the Eric Dane thing, and I understand that, he had a lot of experimental treatments but he had a girlfriend at the time of his diagnosis and his wife had a boyfriend, even though they were still married. And the boyfriend is apparently a multi-billionaire. I didn't say millionaire with an M, I said billionaire with a B. But, she's had to start a GoFundMe too because, you know, even though she's still married to him and she probably gets his SAG health insurance, which I understand because I helped the family of my Canadian friend with all that. Like there is money there with SAG when somebody passes, and I'm sure there was life insurance too, unless he was just stupid, which I doubt. And we're not victim shaming here, especially people with cancer. We're brothers and sisters, but um, just to see like the power of the internet and crowdsourcing and like, if you're famous and something happens, like, there you go. But for them, it for them it's too late because they're gone. And I'm sorry that they are. One day we'll all be there. Um, but thank you, Brenda. I'll have to go over my emails late at night. Um, Lady was just pointing out the white Kia Soul from the Ring camera night of abduction could actually be the 2021 Murano showing in Google Maps. Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw that video too, and it did kind of look like a Kia Soul. It was definitely white, but it goes by so fast, and that's about 2.5 miles away. But it is kind of odd that between midnight and 6 in the morning, they videotaped through that Ring doorbell 12 vehicles, some of which were speeding, which was kind of weird in the middle of the night to be on the back end of that neighborhood that leads to nowhere. Robert, welcome in. Hello to you, sir. No button to send money? Oh, SFL, is that what you were asking? I just saw, oh, okay. If you go to the main channel page, April Davis PI, I have links. And the reason I put that up there is because I've been accused, even by members of my own family at times, that my illness is fake. Anytime I bring it up, I mention the GoFundMe, which, by the way, was not started by myself. It was by my good friend Lisa, who's been a lifelong friend since age 1. We were Bay Area neighbors back when our dads were stationed at Menzie. And yeah, that's how old I am. And she started all that. And every now and then she would do updates or I would do updates. Also, there's a lot of updates on my Facebook, April Davis PI. Send me a friend request. If I know you, I'll accept it. But yeah, I have all my links. I also have my eBay store, my Whatnot store, my Cash App, my Venmo, and I always link that GoFundMe. And I recently updated because someone on here, actually, on YouTube said, hey, April, I was trying to look at your GoFundMe and the links didn't work. And I was like, what? And I hadn't had a donation in like maybe a year or two. And sure enough, the links were no longer good. And the person that started it, she's been going through health issues too. And I can't go into that because I can't, divulge any of her medical information here. But I guess she hadn't been keeping up with it. I guess apparently every year you have to renew it, and she must not have renewed it. And I had no idea the links were bad. So I redid the links and I put a message up on my Facebook like, hey, I'm going through some rough times and this is what's happening. I've already had 2 surgeries, or I'm getting ready to have the second, and this has happened, and now I've had a side effect, and la, 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 la. And at some point there was one donation, and it was somebody I don't even personally know. So I was mind blown. So to the person on here, I can't remember who it was, who said, hey, I was trying to look for your GoFundMe, but the links are bad. Thank you for telling me that, because if you hadn't told me that, I wouldn't have fixed it, and I wouldn't have got that one donation, and that one donation is going to help pay for part of my kidney surgery. So thank you. I guess, if you live in the United States of America and you have 2 types of medical insurance, it's still not enough. But if you were asking for that, if that's what I'm seeing, SFL-6, yeah, you just go to the main channel page and there's links. And if I can get enough viewers, enough hours, because I'm almost halfway there again, and, when it's all done, if I ever get remonetized, I will explain what happened after the first one and why it was only there for like 2 months and why I didn't make any money. If it ever comes back, we'll throw a big party. I'll throw a party, and you're all invited. Set it up and I'll send you $1. It's already there, Steve. Just go to the GoFundMe or the Cash App or the PayPal, or not the PayPal, Venmo. Or you know what? If you guys aren't signed up to Whatnot, I don't know if you guys are, if you're young, you probably don't even know eBay, because most people in the next generations after me don't know eBay. But if you do know what eBay is, Whatnot is like an eBay, but they, instead of having silent auctions, they have live auctions. And then they added a marketplace where people can go buy stuff even when they're not live. If you scan my QR code on one of my lives, go to the live tab and just go to my Whatnot and scan the QR code, or go to the Whatnot link on my main Facebook or my main YouTube page, or in the video description of any of my Whatnot lives, and you've not already signed up, Whatnot will put $15 in your spending account, and that's on them. And you don't need to spend it in my store. You can go spend it in their store, or somebody else's store. And once somebody buys something and they receive it, they give me a little $5 credit for me to buy something from them. So I don't get any money out of that, but I just got, this week, somebody put a $5 credit into my Whatnot because somebody watching me here said, oh, I'm going to go take advantage of that, and I'm going to go get my free $15, and I'm going to buy something for free. And they did, and now I have a little teeny $5 credit. So, I'll buy something. Once I get enough credits, maybe I'll buy a little gold nugget or something, or a piece of silver to add to my silver stash. But thank you, Steve. Yeah, you can go to the main channel page. The most important thing today is that I get these watch hours back to 4,000. And I am up to 1,929. Wow, where were we when I started today? Does anybody remember? One more, my little dinger near my TV will go off, my little bicycle bing bing. But I need 71 more subs to get to 2,000. And thank you for the thumbs up. If you double tap that screen, it'll show me red hearts, and it'll help show engagement where YouTube will maybe push it out into the algorithm. And I'm so glad that they did, because the other night, I don't know if she's still here. Brenda, are you still here, cuz? If you're still here and you said you didn't get my link from Randy, that you just found me by accident, that chance is 1 in 115 million, because there's 115 million YouTube channels. And so there was a 1 in 115 million chance that my live broadcast showed up in your feed across the country. Heavenly intervention, that's all I can say. Set it up, I'll send you $1. Is my PayPal link up there? I'll have to check. I know I have Venmo. Well, let me look. I got my iPad that I need to pay off so that I can do these. I just had to replace the iPad finally because it was crashing every time I was on a Whatnot. Let me go to my channel. April Davis PI, view channel. And if you go to the main channel page, looks like, oh, no, I don't want to see a video. Okay, there's the main channel page. I know there's glare. See the links? Let me see what I have. My eBay store, there's only about 16 items left. And by the way, somebody did buy something today in my eBay store. I don't think it was from here. It was from a lady in Texas. Buy me a coffee. Yeah, that costs $5 though, and I get like $2 out of that. There's Venmo, there's Cash App, there's PayPal, there's Whatnot. Click that invite link. You'll get free $15 from Whatnot. And the GoFundMe, you don't have to contribute, but if you read the GoFundMe and you read all the updates starting from 2019 forward, you'll see that I'm not faking it. Yeah, while I was in the hospital, I had a family member who was on the approved list, called the hospital, and she asked about my heart, and the hospital said she's fine. And apparently I was a faker, but I was in the critical, even in the emergency room, I was in the critical cardiac unit. And many of the 16 times that I was at that hospital, I was on the 3rd floor, which is the critical cardiac unit. So yeah, I'm a faker, you know. That's why I'm on like 10 prescriptions a day that now cost over $2,000 a year. Yep, money just coming right out of my ass on this. I have lived, but this is what has happened. You know, pray that a cure for cancer comes very quickly, people, so that you or your family never have to deal with this. Steve says, I don't know if I can send you $1 since you're friends with a Canadian. Oh my God, my dad was a naturalized Canadian, but he went there for military purposes to help out the Navy. Yeah, my Canadian friend, it's her birthday this month, and it just last night I started thinking about this, and I have to say it's 3 years past her death, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't have a tear in my eye. Okay, let's get back to Nancy here. That's why we're here. Dawn, I was sitting here thinking if someone comes forward and is possibly awarded the $1 million, how is it possible for someone to remain anonymous? You'd have to have a bank account, wouldn't you? Well, according to the Guthrie family, well, according to Savannah, she says you can take the money in cash. I don't know how that would happen. Hey, let me walk into the police station anonymously and claim my $1,000 in cash or my $1 million. And I'll walk out with a bag that says bag of money, $1 million. Yeah, how would that work? That's a very good question, Dawn. I mean, it's almost comical, isn't it? And this is a very sad situation. I mean, especially with what's happened this week, and we've got the war going now, and everybody disappeared out of our neighborhood, and you'd have to have your name on it somewhere, right? Yeah, I would think so. Primal screams, we shouldn't have to go GoFundMes for healthcare in the richest country in the world. Exactly. And you know who knew a lot about that? This may upset some of you, but my Canadian friend. And had she not died, she had planned to go on CNN, and she could have got on because of her fame. She was going to go on CNN with Don Lemon, and she was going to talk about this. Yeah, she was going to talk about the healthcare situation, Canada compared to the USA and, Great Britain and Australia and the rest of the world. Yeah, and she was going to explain it all. And it was nice hearing her perspective on it. But then there was the opposite perspective, because when my dad had cancer and he was passing away in Canada, there was 2 times that he needed to be into the hospital and they didn't have a bed. Why are my teeth yellow? Well, the dentist told me because I'm a redhead and that the teeth whiteners won't work on me. That came from a licensed dentist. I'm sorry if it bothers you. You don't have to watch. How about my turkey neck? Anybody want to make a comment about that? Yeah. Actually, they don't look as yellow in person. They show up yellow on screen. Like, my skin also looks more pink on screen, and I'm like, oh my God, am I having a heart episode? And I'll run into the bathroom and look in the mirror, and it's fine. It's just, Uh, uh, no, doctors shouldn't work for free. But there is a way to completely restructure the healthcare system. No, there wasn't 115 million chance most of them aren't alive right now. You mean most of the people that have YouTube channels? Never heard of that. There's over 115 million current um, YouTube channels. Facts, not feelings. That's a good question. I wonder how many of those accounts might be no longer active because somebody might have passed away. It's just like Facebook. I still have 3 or 4 people on my Facebook friends list that are deceased. No, I believe you, Brenda. Wow, it was not from Randy. It just came up on my phone. That is so bizarre too. But that's what I asked you in the live. If you're still here, like, yeah, I'm behind on the chat, but yeah, that's like so weird with 115 million YouTube channels, and Facts Not Feelings does bring it up that most of them aren't alive. I don't believe that most of the YouTube channels are with dead people. If that's what you're trying to say, Facts. People on here need to remain polite. Yeah, you know what? I think I don't have any mods here right now. So I think I am going to have to put a user in the timeout. But hey, I'm an open book, so it doesn't get to me, because comments are engagement. That's why I don't block anybody on YouTube. I can time you out, but I don't block anybody on YouTube. Leanne says, really, people? Yeah, yellow teeth and turkey neck. And now that I have my eyes fixed and I don't need glasses or contacts anymore, which is so freeing when I drive, not to have to be going like, oh, my contacts, they're so dry in this LA heat, I just need this, which, by the way, my good pairs are broken. This is a cheap, dirty Amazon pair, but at least I can see the screen. Thank you, Dawn. You seem like a nice person. Pink, you really need to stop that. That's not nice, and it's very rude. Well, you know what? Pink can't hear you anymore because Pink is on a 24-hour timeout. Steve, I'm sorry. I was just teasing. I would give you $1. Then I'm sorry for your loss and such a good friend. Yeah, you know what? Before I went to bed last night, it just, the clock had struck midnight and it was March 1st. And then I went, oh, and it just, this feeling, my heart sank. And I was like, oh my God, March 28th is coming. And that's 15 days before my birthday. And me and my close friend, we spent every birthday together, every New Year's Eve together during the pandemic too, since we met. Hello, Leanne. Yeah, she was the best. That's what my cat is named after her, actually. Dawn says, my mom had breast cancer and a mastectomy. She's in remission right now. Oh, good. Me too. I had a mastectomy too. Yeah, I'm surprised somebody hasn't given me a hard time about that. I've been told I was beautiful. I've had a marriage proposal on here. I think it was someone in another country. I've been told about my turkey neck. Yep. But I just can't afford to have an unnecessary surgery right now that's not medically necessary. Like, I think they call that an elective surgery. I'm not Mrs. James Vanderbeek, and I'm not Mrs. Eric Dane. But congratulations, Dawn, on your mom. Tell her she's my sister in breast cancer. That automatically makes her my friend. Leanne says, yeah, Pink needs a timeout. Yeah, all my mods are gone today. I have a mod in Alabama, Georgia, and out in the off the grid in Alaska. Blaine Valentine. Hello, Blaine. Where are you coming in from? Wow, I've got 22 people watching and I've already got 48 likes. The numbers have finally flipped the other way. Let's go back to YouTube Studio here. That's my YouTube Studio app, and let's see where the subscriber count is. It's still stuck at 1929. I have 71 more to go before we can have that, 2,000. But what would mean more to me than the 2,000 would be that I get the watch hours. So you guys keep watching the videos. Watch this whole crime series on Nancy Guthrie. Go to the main channel page, click the channel links, click the playlist, go through all the old videos. I've got, 400 and some videos? Blaine, you're in Austin, Texas. My neighbor moved to Austin, Texas. I miss her. So if you're out there, Jesse in Austin, hello. Dawn, no one is perfect. We all have flaws. I think you're beautiful inside and out, even if we just met. Well, it's hard for me to think of myself as beautiful because all my friends are like, movie stars or television stars or broadcasters. Everybody I know is in the movie business, the TV business, the music business. Oh, you're in Illinois. Well, that's where my family's from. Not me, but my family. We're in Illinois, and you don't have to call yourself out if you don't want to. I've got someone else in my chat today from Illinois. Carbondale. I have no idea where that is. My parents lived in central Illinois. I think my mom's town was about 2 hours outside of Chicago. I've heard that. Austin, Texas is the new Hollywood. I would love Austin. Home of the Seleucus? Southern Illinois University. Okay. Yeah, I'm not from there either. Don't be sorry, Nuka. Nuka Snook? Or Nuka's Nook. Oh, that's a cool username. Nuka's Nook. Yeah, I got people here from all over the world. The other night we always have Canadians that usually come in. We had Ireland, we've had the UK, we had Peru, we had Australia. And that was awesome. That was really got me excited. Oh, you're from New Zealand. Oh, you've been here before. Are you the person before? Have you been here before, Nuka? Nuka's Nook? Were you here before from New Zealand? Because I had somebody in New Zealand that came in. Or are you somebody else from New Zealand? NZ, I assume you mean New Zealand. Yes. Okay. Welcome back. Yeah. In fact, my friend who did the GoFundMe, not to get off track here, but the friend that did the GoFundMe, she has cousins in New Zealand, and her sister, who is also a breast cancer survivor, not once but twice, so she's like my hero. She's been in New Zealand multiple times since her recovery, and she absolutely loves it there. Your son is stationed in San Diego. Is he in the Navy? Yeah, apparently New Zealand is one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Yes. What type of ship is he on? Or is he on a ship? He could be at a base rather than on a ship. He could even be a pilot. Is he on a ship? Or is he like plane related? His fleet transferred from Hawaii. He was on the USS Chung-Hoon. Oh, okay. Is that a full carrier? The reason I ask is because my dad built cruisers, destroyers, LHAs for the United States Navy, and then for the Canadian Royal Navy, he built a fleet of frigates. Is that what it's called? A frigate? Am I saying that right? I asked him what it meant, and he said it was a very tiny warship. Sorry, Canada. Oh, it's a destroyer. Oh, I've been on lots of those as a child. Yeah, I was on cruisers, destroyers, and I was on at least 2 of the 5 LHAs that he built. The DDG-93. Well, thank you, Don. Thank your son for his service. Yeah, me and my Canadian friend, I had to tell her about that because when I told her my dad was Canadian, she was like, "No way." And I'm like, "Well, naturalized." And then she was like, "Really?" And like, "What did he do? How did he get to Canada?" And I said, "Well, he went up there for the Royal Canadian Navy." And we were talking about the military up there because she was telling me the story about some type of plane or helicopter that was in, I think, the Royal Canadian Air Force or something, but it had some sort of a defect and they used to crash all the time. And people in Canada would see it coming and they'd go, "Oh my God, here it comes." And they would run. And we were laughing so hard about that. And I said, "He built frigates." And then she said, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, he says it was a very small warship." And then she was just like, "Ha, ha, ha." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's Canada. They had little teeny tiny warships." But he was on that program for about 10 years. And I don't know how many he built. I knew then, but I'm old now. I'm old as dirt. So it was a long time ago. I would be too, Don. Oh, right now it's on dry dock being repaired. Yeah, my dad was at Minzy, Mare Island Naval Shipyard in the 60s, and but he was on the sub program. And he also was in Hawaii a little bit too. Wow. Well, go Navy. I don't have any of my dad's stuff from when he passed away. He had so much Navy memorabilia from his ships and the hats and the coins and the little badges and the things to hang up on the wall. I would love to have that. Okay, and Nook says Hawaii, New Zealand, and Easter Island are the 3 points of the Polynesian Triangle. Oh, I didn't know that. And I'm really into geography, so I'll have to look that up. Dawn says both my parents were in the Navy, stationed in Pensacola, Florida. I was born. Oh my gosh. You know how much time I spent as a child in Pensacola, Florida? We lived a little more than an hour away from Pensacola, Florida for a good portion of my childhood. And I went there all the time. I would go to, oh, Barney, you're the third person I've had to time out today. Uh, you love geography too. Wow. I Oh my God, I spent so much time in Pensacola as a child. That's crazy. Well, small world. That was a nice little town. Yeah, I know we've gotten way off track here. We're here to talk about Nancy Guthrie, but the only updates on her is that the media is basically pulled out of the neighborhood. Allegedly, Savannah intends to return to New York and go back to work, but we don't have any dates. And according to the sheriff, there are no suspects, and the family is clear. But if the family does not have their car back, meaning Annie and Tommaso, because the car is an active piece of evidence, or it's a piece of evidence in an active criminal investigation. Doesn't mean that they're involved at all. But they've had that car a long time now. No, no problem, Don. That was very interesting. And Leanne, oh, I didn't know this, Leanne. I live near Pensacola. I'm in Defoniac Springs. I have a very close friend from California, and she was one of the first friends that I met when I returned to California in 1983. And she and her husband have located to the Florida Panhandle. And supposedly they like it there. And my nanny's daughter, my nanny that took care of us when we were little kids, her daughter has a condo in Pensacola. And she told me a few years ago, if you want to move to Pensacola, we've got a condo for you. I almost cried. I might need that someday. I hope she still has that condo when I'm too old to take care of myself. Yeah, Pensacola was, I liked it a lot better than where we lived and where my dad worked. I liked it a lot better. I like the beaches there. And I like the fact that the Navy, their elite, um, uh, not the Blue Angels, but because the Blue Angels is Navy. What's the one for Navy? Because Blue Angels is Air Force, and then what's the elite? I just totally like zoned out here. Is it the Blue Angels? Which one is Navy and which one is Air Force? The elite fighter jet team, and they go around and they do air shows. They're in the Navy's portion or version of that is in Pensacola. But I don't know if they were there. I think I saw the Thunderbirds. That was it at Brookley. But we never saw the Navy. The Thunderbirds, yeah, that's for the Air Force. Is it the Blue Angels that's for the Navy? I'd like to know how long they were there. Because my friend's cousin uh, was stationed there for a long time at Pennsylvania Naval Air Station. The Blue Angels, yeah. How long have the Blue Angels been in Pensacola? Because I never saw them as a child. I don't know if they were stationed at Pensacola Naval Air Station then. And I don't remember where the Thunderbirds were stationed, but they came into Brookley Field. And I saw them when I was really, really young. I love the Blue Angels. But you know what? When we were in the Gulf, like the Gulf Coast, we never went to Talladega either. We never went to Talladega. Um, we never went to Daytona. Like, my parents just weren't cool like that. Well, they existed when my parents were there in the 70s. I was there in the 70s. Well, not in Pensacola, but maybe an hour to an hour and 15 minutes away. Were they already there? See, I like some of those clips on YouTube where they get really low over the Gulf of Mexico and they go right down Pensacola Beach and all the umbrellas and the chairs fly up into the air. Oh. Oh, you grew up in New Mexico near Holloman. Oh, wow, Leanne. I grew up everywhere. Now, since we are here for dear Nancy Guthrie, Nancy Ellen Guthrie, let's talk about Nancy. I think she's gone. I think everybody here thinks that she's gone. But I still want them to find her, and I want them to find who did this. And I want the family, Savannah and all her family, to have closure. It might have been way before that. Yeah, I'd have to look that up. How long have the Blue Angels been stationed at Pensacola? I'm sure Google would know. I just heard the pipes making noises. I'm so paranoid because everything that has happened here plumbing wise. Somebody in another unit just like flushed a toilet or something, and I hear like this click, 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 and I'm like, oh no, oh no. I don't want my walls torn down again. I believe exactly that, Dawn, that it's very possible. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm 90% sure that she passed before she left her house that night and she was carried out. But I'd have to know the evidence inside the house, which the police and the FBI are not talking about. I'd have to know more about what they actually found to say that for sure. But from what's been known publicly, yeah, I think that she was already gone before she ever stepped foot out of that house. She was killed or fatally injured before she left the house, most likely. And if she wasn't, if she was still alive, then she died soon thereafter because she didn't have her meds. Dawn says, I agree someone is holding evidence. Yes. Someone is holding evidence. It's very sad. And I think there is somebody out there that knows something and they're scared to come forward. If I knew something, I would go forward. I would get part of that reward. I need to pay my medical bills. Like I need to have money in the bank, for emergencies. Heck, in LA, you can't even buy groceries anymore. I'm going grocery bankrupt. Like I would do anything to be able to get a piece of that reward. But I don't know anything. I don't know. I'm not there working this case. I always thought and will continue to think that whoever did this is very close and closer than you think. Absolutely. This is not a case of stranger danger. Leanne Navarre says she never had a chance. Sad. It was somebody that lost control of the situation. Yes. Oh, you were live. You must be coming on live, Bill, when I'm coming on live because I've been wanting to watch your live since I know who you were. And I am subscribed to your channel. And I do have the bell icon clicked. So Bill says family was involved. Dawn says it was definitely a sloppy abduction as well as a sloppy case. It is. And people are like, well, if it was so sloppy, how come they've gotten away with it? Well, so far they've gotten away with it. But the truth always comes out. Boston Bill says they're there. Absolutely. Let's check the subscriber count. Yeah, for the next one that subscribe, it'll be about a 5-minute delay, but I'll get the ding on my little YouTube counter box because every 10 now it counts and it'll go bing, bing, like a little bicycle bell. Like remember when you were a kid, if you're as old as dirt as I am, you had the little bell on your handlebars and it had like a little nub and you go click, 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 and it go ding, 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 ding. It sounds like that. And it'll go off when it hits 1930. Sometimes it can take up to 5 minutes to come through, but I'm stuck at 1929. I'm 71 subs away from hitting 2,000. So if you're watching this on the replay and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And whoever hits that 2,000 mark, shoot me a message at aprildavispi@gmail.com. You had one. You had one what, Dawn? Oh, one where you had one? Is that regarding subs? I'm not sure. I'm lost. Oh, ding ding. Yeah, it used to ding ding for every sub, and then when it hit 1,000, it only ding dings for every 10. And when it's right at the cusp, like it's at 1929, when it hits 1930, then I'll get the ding ding. But then people sometimes leave, so then it can go back a notch or two, and then if it goes under that 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever it is, if it goes one down, then I get a -10 and I get a thunderstorm sound on my and that's made me jump a few times where that thing has gone off and I'm like, what is that? Because we don't get thunder in LA. Very rare. Barbara Hockman. But when? When will it happen? She needs to be found. But the bad ones have had plenty of time to rid a body by now, sadly. This is a heartbreaker. First of all, they need to have the cadaver dogs out, but I think she's, and I'm just saying this on a psychic level, from the very beginning, I see her in water. And I don't know why. Maybe I'm just being influenced by all these psychics and spirit box readers, but I felt that too, like that she's underwater somewhere. And I hope not, but I wouldn't be surprised if, someday it may not even be in my lifetime, sadly, that, somebody finds her. Uh, it's funny how you don't hear anymore about all these people they let go. Makes no sense. Oh, you mean the people that were detained in question? And apparently, Carlos, he was detained in not only a Pima County Sheriff's vehicle. Well, first he was detained in a Marana vehicle. Then he was switched to, I think, Pima County vehicle. And they were raiding his mother-in-law's house while he was detained for 5 to 7 hours, whatever it was, on the side of the road. And they didn't even interview him. What is that about? Don McWhorter says yes. Yeah, and now the Daly family, they've lawyered up as well, as far as I've heard. I know that Carlos is lawyered up by a Jesse Showalter. I don't know who that is. I mean, he's a lawyer in Arizona, obviously, but I don't know what his practice specialty is. Poor little Carlos. And he actually voluntarily pulled over. They weren't even trying to pull him over. They were following him all the way from Marana into Rio Rico, and he realized somebody was following him, and he finally just pulled over, like, hey, what's going on? Because he was scared, and then they all like came up and surrounded him and pulled their guns and like, get out of the car. And, they detained him and detained his family, took their phones, and then raided his mother-in-law's house. And what a scary thing. Poor Carlos. Okay, Brian Denton reported he was held in authorities' vehicles for 7 hours. Yeah, that's about right, I think. And he was handcuffed the whole time with his hands behind his back and his shoulders. I would have literally passed out from the pain because I'm so medically messed up. Like, I wouldn't have been able to stay in that position for more than 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, somebody just subbed. It hit 1930, and it is 4:33. Let's see how many minutes it takes for the YouTube counter to figure that out. 1930. So I'll hear the little bicycle, like the bicycle bell, ding ding. I'll hear that now that because now it only counts per 10. So it's at 1.92K, and it'll ding at 1.93K. I think it usually takes about 5 minutes. Wow, 19 people watching and 49 thumbs up. If you're not one of those 49, give me a thumbs up. Double tap that screen. And please go check the channel links on the main channel page when we get off of here. And, if there's something you see on eBay, shoot me an offer. If there's something you see you would like to purchase on my whatnot, there's not a lot of inventory there now, but if you see a little something that would tickle your fancy, send me an offer. I'll be happy to accept it. And just send me a little note said, hey, I'm coming in from your YouTube, and I'm coming in from your YouTube live. And, because you'll probably have a different username on like whatnot or eBay, and, buy something and I'll send it to you tomorrow. And then you'll have something in return. It's not just like making a dollar donation. I just brought that up because I was telling my mod Kelly, like, should I make a video about the James Vanderbeek situation? She was like, oh, yeah, you should do it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't feel right about it because I didn't know James Vanderbeek. I don't know his family. He was one of the celebrities that I never actually worked with, as far as I know. And I think I would remember if I did. And, I'm not in their shoes, and I don't want to judge, but, it is a little disturbing, some of the information that's come out after his death and after Eric Dane's death. It's a little disturbing. And I can see why there are people that are absolutely upset now with more than just the death, but what's happened after the fact. Oh, you love Dawson's Creek. I never saw it, and because I was busy with work, but I wish I had. I heard it was a wonderful show. Wasn't Katie Holmes on there too? Yeah, it's been 2 minutes now, and I still haven't heard that little ding ding. And I don't have ka-ching. You can change the sound effects, and I had the ka-ching on there, during the time that I was briefly monetized, but it was so brief. As soon as the monetization was taken away, and they wouldn't tell me why, and then I deleted too many of the videos. That was my fault. I should have privatized them, but hey, I'm a newbie here. I took the ka-ching sound off, and I just re-put the bicycle ding. And that little box has been so problematic, but I have it working right now, so I have to kind of hide it, because if I don't hide it, the bunny eats the cord. She's disconnected that multiple times in her young life. There's only so many wires and cables I can hide here. She's so quiet now. She's a loaf bunny, smiling at me. And the cat is sleeping in the bed with the door open. She's not even in timeout. She just wanted to eat, and then she wanted to take her afternoon nap. Well, it's 4 minutes now since someone subscribed, and we hit the 1930 mark with only 70 subs to go until we hit 2K. You know what's more important, though? I want the sub count to go up, obviously, because that means more people are subscribed, more people are watching. But I need those hours to go up. I've got to hit 4,000 hours in a 365-day time span. And I had all that, and then it was gone. So I wish I hadn't deleted some of those videos. I wish YouTube had told me which video that they had an issue with, and I could have just taken that down or deleted it or privatized it, or, but they wouldn't tell me, because I might try to circumvent the system in the future. I'm like, do you know who you're talking to here? I'm a 40-plus year detective, and I'm going to try to circumvent the system and be a bad girl? And there's no guarantee that I'll get it back, but I think if I get the subs up and I get those watch hours up, I think they would be stupid not to do it, because they'll lose money. Bad bunny, yeah. But I can't be mad at her. She's so sweet. Yeah, YouTube is finicky. And I know a lot of small YouTubers, and they're all losing their monetization like right after they get them. They're either losing their monetization or they're getting denied when they apply. I know a guy in the gold community, and he's one of the most favorite people of all the people that are in the gold community on YouTube. And he's already got enough subs and enough hours, and every time he applies, they're like, and he doesn't know why. But he makes money from it because he sells his pay dirt. And he has a Patreon, which I've never had a Patreon, and I never would. But he has a Patreon, and he does gold raffles, and, everybody's got to pay $10, and, you might have a 1 out of 200 chance of winning, and, he's making money. But he's a good guy. He should be allowed to be monetized. Oh, there's no sound? Let me check. Testing. Is there sound? I'm hearing myself come across just fine on the iPad. Okay, hearts. I was like, oh my God. I have my do not disturb on. Hold on. And I still have battery power, and I have a backup too, but I have to turn it off. Let me mute the sound on the iPad. Just scared me, hearts. Oh my God, hearts. Oh, and you know what, hearts? As long as you're here, and you don't have to stay, but I'm going to mod you, because Kelly is not here right now, Karen is not here, and Kermudge is not here. And I know you, hearts, so I just added you, hearts, as a moderator. And please don't block anybody, But if somebody, I've had 3 knuckleheads today that I've had to put on a 24-hour timeout. So if somebody gets, out of line, let me know, and then you can go time out them for me. There you are. Okay, now you're modded. And you don't have to stay. Like, if you have other things to do, I understand. I'm almost done. I've been on here, oh my God, 130 minutes? 2 hours and 10 minutes. Yeah, I don't mind when people come in, because if they want to engage with me and, they want to comment and they want to subscribe and hit that like button and, call me an asshole or whatever they want to do, that's fine. That's engagement. Thank you very much. In fact, if I can ever get remonetized, that's a view. That's money in my pocket. That's money for medical bills. That's why I don't block anybody on here. But I had to take out like 3 people. And what was it? What were the 3 things that came up? One said I was boring. That's funny. One says I have yellow teeth, and they're not as yellow in person. And in the mirror, they're perfectly white, but on YouTube, they look yellow. And my dentist said it's because I'm a redhead and they can't whiten my teeth. Hey, Jamie James. So I have yellow teeth. Nobody talked about my turkey neck today, and I'm boring. And then somebody else came in and said something about the Islamic people of Iran. And I just was like, no, we're not going to go there today. You've been trying to play my playlist. I sure hope so. I want everybody to play my playlist. I've got to get those 4,000 hours to be able to reapply. Yeah, somebody called me a witch. Actually, I think that's comical too. I wish I was. I'd have magical powers if I was a witch. Oh, thank you, Hearts. Yeah, I know that, my mod Kelly and my friend here, Leanne, my new friend through YouTube, has been watching, and Donna McCoy has been binge watching. Yeah, I laugh. I can't wait till I'm monetized again, if that happens, if that is to ever happen. And then some of these people come in and say these comments. It's so funny, especially in the chat, but like in the comment section of the videos, because remember, the comment section in the videos is totally separate from the chat comments. It's 2 totally different things. And I have to laugh. Oh, Brian, you're watching me with Brenda. Well, welcome, Brian. Everybody, welcome Brian to my channel. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate you coming in. I hope you're sub, Brian. Let's see let me go back to, at 4:33, I hit 1930 subscribers. Now we're up to 1931. And the little YouTube ticker, boy, YouTube must be really busy today. It's still at 1.92. I still haven't heard the ding, 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 ding yet. Oh, let's see. Brenda says, this is interesting. The turkey neck is from her grandfather, Davis. I have it too. Fortunately for us, her analytical mind is from her father and grandfather too. I didn't know my grandfather hardly at all, which saddens me. But your brother recently sent me a bunch of family photos that I've never seen before in my life. And it was really cool to see those. And then you said, Brenda, that you had some video of me and my mom in Groton. And I told you that we lived in North Stonington, but it's very possible that the video could have been taken in Groton, because that's where my dad worked. He worked in Groton. They lived in Mystic. And then when she was pregnant, they moved to the house in North Stonington, which is in the middle of nowhere, even today. So there's probably not any restaurants or stores or shopping. And so they may have taken you into Groton. I mean, I would have only been an infant, so probably a year or less, because I was only 14 months when we left to go to San Francisco. So if you have anything, feel free to send it to me. Dawn says you can't please them all. Yep. The turkey neck is gravity. Yeah, it's bad genes for me. That's why I had 4 eye surgeries. But I can see now perfectly, but now I just can't see up close. But yeah, I would love to have this done, but I don't have money to pay for the surgeries that were necessary to save my life. How am I going to have, $10 or $20,000 to have an unnecessary surgery and then have to withdraw from meds and then have to reintroduce them to my body and get all messed up because I had a big problem after my kidney surgery when I had to go back on my blood thinners and I almost bled out. And, it's a shit show. Excuse my language, Brenda. I know you're a good Christian. You probably didn't like that, but I'm sorry. It is what it is. I'm an open book. I have to be honest. Um, that's funny. Carts, a turkey neck is gravity. Yeah, YouTube does make a small world. Brenda, I was when you were a baby. It was a 2-story house. I was only guessing Groton because that's what I remember. Is that where the video was taken? Yeah, the house was actually in North Stonington. And I would love to have the address. I doubt you have it, Brenda, but if you have it, let me know because our mailing address was actually a post office box in Rhode Island because there was no postal service out there. And the address on the death certificate, I don't have a death certificate. The address on the birth certificate just says RR3, which stands for Rural Route 3, North Stonington, Connecticut. And then in parentheses, it says P.O. Box, yada, 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 Westerly, Rhode Island. So I don't have a physical address as to where that house was located. I have it in my mind because there was a picture of our house in our family room in other states. We kept the pictures. So I still, I know I would recognize the house if I saw it. Well, hopefully. Those pictures were probably from the 60s, but I would love to have the actual address. So Brenda, if you had the address of the house, let me know. April, that's crazy. Live with what you have. Live with what you have. Yeah. I've been through enough. I've been through 10 lifetimes of enough. Hearts. Dawn says, I'm behind on the chat. I gotta go and take care of a sick kid. Oh, I'm sorry, Dawn. It's been really nice chatting. Till next time, everyone enjoy your evening. Love y'all. Love you too, Dawn. Thanks for coming in. Well, I've gone way too long here, but you know what? It's been 15 minutes now. And that little YouTube monitor, I can't think of the name of the box. It still hasn't added that it went over to 1.9K. It still says, it says 1.92 and it should say 1.93. I'm still waiting for it to ding. I'm sure as soon as I go off the air, it'll go ding ding. But I'm more interested in the watch hours. Let me click my analytics. And the analytics are always 4 to 5 days behind. Yeah, it's showing on YouTube, but it's not showing on my box. I have a little ticker box. According to my YouTube studio, and these totals are 4 to 5 days behind. And they count everything for the last 28 days. I've had 41.1 thousand views in the last 28 days. That's 34.9K more than usual. I have 1.2K of watch hours. If I could keep that going, then I could be looking at a few more months to get the monetization going again. And I've added 293 plus, it's just plus 293 subscribers in the last 28 days, which is 1,231% more. And my estimated revenue is 0. Hey, Kelly, I just had to mod hearts because this has been going so long. I've already had to remove 3 people today. Someone talking about the Islamic regime in Iran. Somebody saying that I had yellow teeth. And somebody saying that I was boring. So welcome, hearts. Kelly, we've added hearts as a mod. So we have Kelly as a mod. Number 1. I haven't seen Karen today. She's number 2. And I had to re-add Kermudge because sometimes YouTube, they will unsubscribe you from channels, I can't unsubscribe you, but YouTube can unsubscribe you. So you always got to check that subscribe tab and click the bell icon, because if the bell icon is not clicked, you won't get the notices that I've gone live or that I've posted a long form content. I don't think they notify you on shorts. I'm not sure. I don't think so. Shorts don't matter. Even if I'm monetized, they don't matter. Yes, they do all the time. Oh, Brenda says I only have the address in Mobile. Yeah, I have that in my mind. You know, the address and the phone number that I remember the most that's permanently imprinted in my brain is the address in New Jersey, where I spent 5 years of my childhood off and on. And that house, that address, the sounds and the smells, everything, the aromas. There we go. YouTube. It took you almost 20 minutes, 18 minutes to catch up. Okay. Now let me see where we're at. Let me go back to the dashboard. We're still at 1,931. That means I'm 79 subscribers away. Yeah, if you guys have like Facebook or Instagram, any type of social media, can you share my channel? Say that I'm 79 subs away, but just get people to watch, because the sub count is really not as important at all as the amount of watch time. But the more subs I have, then the more watch hours I can accumulate. Kelly, yeah, that happens all the time. That has been my problem. It shows the bell is checked, but there is no actual notification. That happens a lot. And sometimes to fix that, just like click that bell to unclick it and then re-click it. Turn it off, turn it on, and that'll help that. Did anyone see the something last night? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, do you mean the planets lining up? I saw it a little bit in LA, but you know, it's like living in Manhattan. There's so much lights that you can't really see the stars. Unless we have a catastrophic earthquake at 4:30 in the morning and the power grid goes completely down. You can't really see the stars here in LA. You have to be out in one of the canyons, like, you know, Malibu Canyon, Topanga Canyon. You've got to be on that side of the ocean where it's just black. And I have, and it's scary. It's scary at night out there with the mountain lions and the bobcats and the coyotes. And you're surrounded in the absolute darkness. That's the only way you can see the stars in LA. Or you got to go to the Griffith Observatory and actually look through one of the telescopes, because then you just have a massive amount of lights down below. It's the big city. It never gets dark. And the moon was quite full last night, too. So I could see it a little bit. Yeah, and you know, in Alabama, you would be able to see that. Where is the bell icon? Okay, let me go to somebody else's page. Or let me go to my page. Let me go back, Brian. Everybody welcome Brian. He's new here. Let's see, my new buddy Brian. Let me see. Let me just go to somebody else's channel. I'm still on my channel. I just want to go to YouTube and get off my channel. Okay, I'm going to go to my friend Lauren in Alaska. Hold on. I'm going to click her channel. And, oh, okay. When you click somebody's channel, to the right, like go on a video, and to the right, you'll see the bell icon. And it'll say all, personalized, none, or unsubscribe. And just click all on the bell icon. And then let me go back to my page. Let me turn off Lauren. I've got to see today's video. Boy, she's just absolutely my inspiration here, my friend Lauren in Eagle River, Alaska. Let me go back to my channel and go to view channel. And I'm looking at my main page. And if you click right under the description, there's a description on my channel page that says private investigator, reseller, treasure hunter, animal lover, breast cancer survivor, and proud Angelino, bunny and cat mama. Tune in for news stories and more. There's something here for everyone. And then it says more. And if you go to the More, you'll see my mailing address in Studio City, which is, by the way, across the street from my old house in the Brady Bunch neighborhood. And then you'll see my links: eBay store, Buy Me a Coffee, Venmo, Cash, PayPal, whatnot, GoFundMe. And when you see the information that says only 279,312 views, that's not correct at all, because when I deleted one quarter to one third of my videos, most of my views were gone, because I think I had over 500,000 at that time. And when you see the join date, that's just when I joined Google. That's not when I became a YouTuber. I became a YouTuber December 2020. So yeah, it's 5 years and I've got 1,900 subscribers. That basically means I pretty much suck on YouTube. I'm sorry. Yeah, 1931. But I appreciate each and every one of you. Okay, let me go back to the messages. Oh, Hart says we can see them in Maine depending on where you are. Tomorrow is a big blood moon. Yeah, you know, usually when we have that, we don't see it here in LA. They see it in New York, but we don't see it here. Oh, thanks for saying hi to my friend Brian. Hart says the bell icon is right below the video screen. Will show April's name, and to the right, a bell icon. Oh, Brenda says you found it. Okay. Brian, I got it. Well, if you're a friend of Brenda's, I'm sure you're okay. I found the bell. Now you will have to deal with me. You know, and if you're a personal friend of me, a personal friend to me, please feel free to go over to my YouTube, or not my YouTube, my Facebook, and go to April Davis PI and send me a friend request. I'm not on there very often. Lillian Brown. Why did the delivery guy to her daughter's home instead of her mother? Which delivery guy? And what delivery are we speaking about, Lillian? Yeah, we are supposed to be talking about Nancy Ellen Guthrie here. Kelly, I lay down for a quick nap at 2 p.m. and now it's almost 7. I forgot to use my cane but didn't fall and break my... Okay. Yeah, you know, I was in the laundry room with a bunch of the people in the building, and I saw my friend Joyce and my friend Philip, and, you know, I'm really close to my friend Joyce. She's an actress from Chicago, and like I said, all my friends are, like, they're all in the business. I'm the only one that's only in the business through my work, but not as an entertainer, and we walked away, and Philip comes running out behind me like, "Hey, you forgot your cane." And I was like, whoa, I'm walking without my cane. Like, oh my God. And I was like, thank you so much, Philip, because I would have got back to the apartment and needed it, and I would have, like, flipped out. So I lost one sock, which was found late last night, and I lost my cane. We're at that age, Kelly. We're at that age of yellow teeth. Yeah, I got yellow teeth. They actually, here, if I look in the mirror, they're a lot wider. They just show up yellow for some reason on the screen. And being a redhead, which you can't really see that anymore either because chemo changed that. It took away my red and added some blonde when it was coming in. You should go back in some of the old pictures and see what my hair actually looked like after that. And it came in all like people are like, you know, people pay lots of money at salons to get this color, and I'm like, oh, it's a nightmare. No one naturally has pure white teeth. Well, I'm a redhead, so, you know, everything, the pigmentation of my eyes is different, my teeth color is different, and but here it's like people always comment on, wow, your teeth look so good for your age, but I guess it just shows up differently on screen. But that's not a big concern for me. Kelly says, I was standing in the parking lot looking up last night, and probably a dozen people stopped with me, looked straight up. Only a couple of people asked me what we were looking at. Well, don't forget your cane, because, you know, on New Year's Day when we had the stealth bomber hanging over my building and the whole place was shaking, I ran outside to run up the stairs without my cane, and that was when I had fall number 6. And I went into my surgery the next morning, my heart surgery, and the same leg that they had to access with the catheters, it was all black and blue. And I had to tell them in the surgery room before they put me out, like, yeah, I was chasing the stealth fighter, or not the fighter. That was the program I did some work on years ago through Lockheed, but no, the stealth bomber. I was chasing a stealth bomber and I tripped over the stairs. So I limped into the hospital to have my heart surgery limping with my cane because of I tripped over the stairs trying to get the video of the bomber. And my neighbor, she was too scared to come out because she was like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" The last time I saw that was at Dodger Stadium opening day on my 40th birthday, and Steve Perry from Journey was sitting right in front of me. And I just said that was the best day of my life, I have to say, one of my best days of my life in LA, going to the opening day on my birthday, on my 40th birthday, and there was Steve Perry. Um, and I used to see him all the time too at the car wash, but it was so cool sitting with him at a Dodger game. Um, Hearts of Gold said, "Well, I was Auburn. Yeah, I was Auburn as a child, but now salt and pepper." Kelly said, "On 1/6, I had a fall without my cane in the hall, and I broke my leg in 2 places." Oh, those bone meds are killer. You know, and yesterday, it seems like since my surgery, I've been having problems again with my blood pressure, and I don't see the heart doctor again until mid-March. Well, now it is March, so this month. But I almost like lost it yesterday for a few moments, like whoop, there it went. But yeah, those bone pills are just god awful. What is the motive? If it was murder, why did they take the body? If it was kidnapping, why was there no real effort to get a ransom? Well, it was one of two things, Brian: money or revenge. It was a targeted murder or a targeted abduction. If they were targeting her personally, whoever set this up wasn't very smart to take her and not take her meds, and she fought back and she died. This, I don't think, was a legit kidnapping because I'm familiar with kidnappings and it doesn't work that way. It's not a foiled burglary. It's not a foiled robbery. Someone, excuse me, was in her house 41 to 47 minutes. I believe that possibly somebody may have been trying to access a safe and try to access documents, possibly. But the typical things like jewelry, cash, wallet, credit cards, none of that was taken. It's either revenge or money. And because she is the mother of a very famous person who makes $8 million a year, she does have a target on her back. So we can't exclude that connection. I've made a living off of, for 35 years full time, I made a living off of celebrity cases and stalking and harassing. I am an expert at that, and that's always a possibility. But if it's not related to Savannah, then it's somebody who knows her personally and was in dire need of money. And they weren't professionals, and somebody messed up really bad. And if they did, if that is the case, they will be caught. And maybe they couldn't take the body because of DNA evidence, because she may have fought back. She may have scratched somebody with her, her hands. And there's supposedly there's other DNA in the house, but it's cross-contaminated with multiple other samples. Oh, I missed that message. BP high or low? It was high. It was high during my kidney surgery too. But it could be that way for several months until everything straightens out after my heart surgery. And they took me off one of my major meds in November or December, which has helped a lot, but there's also my blood pressure is creeping back up. And I don't get enough exercise. I need to lose like 25, 30 pounds, like that, and that's just probably not going to happen in my condition. And that's mentally hard because I've been thin my whole life until now. But, the big C changes everything. Heart says I still go with revenge. Yeah, and I think the family knows more what this is about. I can't say right now. We may never know. The public may never know the truth. You joined a gym this week to use the pool. Oh, that would be fun. Well, and 155 minutes and 25 seconds. That's over 2 hours. This video is just too long. Nobody's going to watch this on the replay. It's too long. One day I thought I would die when I got home. Oh, Kelly says, or with a weak heart, she could have easily had a heart attack or some other heart event. Absolutely. Eileen, welcome in. Brother-in-law was the architect, but his bandmate did the deed. He's a convicted felon. That is true. He is a convicted felon. Not that he did the deed, but that he is a convicted felon. And yeah, there's definitely there's a leader here. Yeah. There's a main player involved. This is not just a random kidnapping, a random robbery, burglary. Absolutely not. And now they're really messed up because they didn't keep her alive and they didn't get the money if it was a kidnapping. But there's a very good possibility she was carried over somebody's shoulder because the blood was dripping straight down and nobody stepped in it. I don't think there was a struggle getting her out of the house. I think she was already gone, most likely. But I don't know for sure because I don't have a copy of, well, nobody has a copy of an autopsy report because we don't have a body. And by the time we find a body, it's not going to be in very good shape. No, we're not at the beginning. We're at the end, Kelly. And thank you, Hearts, for coming on and helping out. I had sent Kelly messages, but I figured you were busy with Katie or something. Yeah, we don't know who did the deed. And on this channel, we're not gonna accuse anybody because everybody is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And what's really sad is sometimes people are arrested and they do have their day in court and they're found innocent when sometimes that's not the case. But we're not going to name names here. That's happened quite a few times in my life here in LA where I was very, very, very close to something and two very prominent people were freed. You took a 5-hour nap. Well, good for you. I don't really take naps, so unless I'm very, very, very sick. So that's why I need my sleep at night. 22 people here, 54 thumbs up. Okay, where's the last subscriber? I knew we weren't going to hit the... Oh, somebody unsubscribed. I just lost a subscriber. I went up to 1931. Now it's back down to 1930. But that happens. A few ticks up, 1 or 2 ticks down. Yeah, I lost somebody. Well, goodbye. Nice knowing you, whoever you were. That will mess you up tonight. Yep. Especially, I think there's a full moon coming, isn't there? And that'll really mess me up. But anyway, I probably need to hydrate and eat and, because my pressure's been like, every day is a struggle. I'm just trying to stay alive. It is what it is. Oh, now it's back up to 1931. Okay. Thank you. Tomorrow night is the blood moon. Okay. Betty, we were chatting about Nancy Ellen Guthrie. Today is day 29, and it is week number 5 since her disappearance. Oh, good night, Leanne. And thanks for binge watching, Leanne. Appreciate you. Everybody hit that thumbs up. Everybody hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell icon. And when you're rewatching these replays, it can take 24 to 48 hours for the comments to reload. and that's on YouTube's end. They just have to reprocess the comments. But you can always comment in the comment section, which is completely separate from the chat. Once the video's finished, the live stream, there's no more commenting on the chat, and it will take 24 to 48 hours to upload. I had one the other day that took a week to come back. It was somehow stuck. Sometimes the numbers are just off. YouTube they have glitches just like anybody else. And if you guys want to check out the channel links, go to the main channel page. And if I know you, you can friend me on Facebook. Does anybody have any final comments to make? I just got to scroll through the chat, make sure I didn't miss anything. If I missed your comment in the chat, I'm sorry. Yeah, Kelly, you'll have about a 2-hour show, 2-hour and 20-minute show. Well, I guess you can stop at the point when you came back in. Angie, there were 2 women who went to law enforcement to report 100% sure they knew who did this. You know, Angie, somebody mentioned that in the very beginning of the video today. If you can rewatch if you're just coming in, rewatch after I go off the air, which should be any second now. Somebody mentioned that, and that they went up to JLR, investigates, and said they knew who did it. Well, if you know who did it, go to 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's 1-800-CALL-FBI. If you have any information about the case of Nancy Ellen Guthrie and her disappearance and her current whereabouts or who's involved in this, you have any information, no matter how small of a clue you think it may be, if you think it may be unimportant, but it could be very important, please call 1-800-CALL-FBI. Also, you guys, I've had a few people sending me emails to the business email. That's aprildavispi@gmail.com. Savannah, I think going back to TV could be good for her, something else to put her mind on. That's one of the reasons I do this YouTube channel. God bless my friend in heaven. This is just it's crushing me today, Kelly, that it's March. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. You'll see why March and April is just so upsetting to me. But she always said, stay distracted. Don't, think about it every second about what's going on, with the health. Just put one foot in front of the other and stay distracted. That was the best advice anybody ever gave me to, have good distractions in my life. And you guys are much more than a distraction. You guys are now my YouTube family. Yeah, she was the best. Yeah. Kind of got me through the last part of my treatment. If I had not met that person when I did, I wouldn't have got through the last part of my treatment because the pandemic had started and all my rides were gone, and it was easy to get there though because the freeways were empty. I never had to experience being, stuck in my house because of the pandemic. I've only been stuck in my house because of my disabilities. But yeah, that got me through. We met each other through work. And apparently, here's the sad part about that. I know this is going off topic, but after we met and we became super, super close, and she said, in the past I sent you an email and you didn't answer because she wanted to get to know me because she was starting to get into the PI field, even though, she was an actress and a model and a broadcaster and a Weather Channel girl, and she worked with Howard Stern at the Toronto part of the Howard Stern show, and she was a big X-Files person and very, very famous in her country. And she wrote to me because several of the female PIs that she had met had said, you have to meet April Davis. And she sent me an email, and I never saw it, but I get 1,000 emails a day, so it was lost in the shuffle somewhere, and I really wish I'd seen that email. And she had met me before my whole life went to crap, I wish she had known the old me instead of the new me, because the new me is not even me anymore. That's why I'm not shy to show my face anymore, because Anybody out there in the PI world who might be, some bad guys trying to chase me down, they wouldn't even recognize me anymore. And I live in Fort Knox. So yeah, we met through the PI world. And she came out of, what was that, when everybody had to stay home, quarantine? She came out of quarantine to get her butt over here to bring me a Starbucks, and I didn't even ask for that. But we sat outside and we sat across from each other, and then at the end, we were in each other's arms on day one. We were like, no hugging, no, you know, no handshakes, no hugs, and we'll sit outside. And we would come back and forth to like use the bathroom because she bought these really tall coffees from Starbucks, and we sat out there for hours, and it just seemed like it went by in 2 minutes. And at the end, we were hugging. And by that night, she was calling me like, "Hey, what are you doing?" We just, sometimes it just clicks. I think sometimes you meet friends in your life, and there's some sort of a past life connection, and it's just sad that we didn't have more time together. And uh, yeah, March is hard for me. March 28th, you probably won't see me on the air because I don't know if I can go live on the 28th. And I have to tell you, if she was still here, she would be so proud of me for doing this and showing my face because she was like, she would just be mind blown that I'm actually showing my face. Hi, Heidi. Yeah, okay. I've gone way too long, so we're going to go off the air. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, hit those red hearts. Make sure you're subbed. We are now up to 1,931 subs. I have 79 more to go before I hit 2,000. If anybody hears that 2,000, please let me know. Yesterday was the 24th anniversary of my mother's death. Oh, I'm sorry, Kelly. I liked your mom. I like both of your parents. Okay. I'm finally going to go away now. Bunny's here. She needs something, and I need to hydrate. Thank you for coming. I love you all.